Chapter 103. Tang Zheng didn't think that Tang Guo would just hang up the phone. But when he remembered that she went to the Lin group to look for Lin Yiqi, he felt that he shouldn't worry about it. Things were going according to his plan and everything was fine. Young master, Miss isn't back yet. The maid had already prepared the meal. Do you want to eat first? Tang Zheng put away his phone and said, she'll be back in a bit. We'll eat when she's back. Okay, young master. In the large living room, Tang Zheng was the only one left. Usually, when he came back, he would definitely see Tang Guo. Ever since that girl came into contact with Lin Yiqi, he basically didn't see her after coming back from the company. If she wasn't on a date with Lin Yiqi, then she was tired and went to rest. In the past few days, they basically didn't see each other. Tang Zheng felt a bit bored and turned on the TV to watch the news. Our station's latest news: yesterday a girl took a taxi home late at night and was brutally raped and killed by the driver. Tang Zheng's eyelids twitched as he turned off the TV. Pursing his lips, he picked up the newspaper and read it. He didn't know why, but he saw the missing person notice in the corner and a picture of a very young and beautiful woman. It said that after the woman got off work the day before yesterday, there was no contact. Even though the police had been called, there was still no news of her. He flipped the newspaper over. The words "A West City Girl's Missing Case Solved" fell into his eyes. He skimmed over the picture that was censored. Even though it was censored, he could still see the surrounding environment. It was a small, dilapidated house. He glanced at the words and saw that it was a month ago. A 17-year-old girl went missing on her way home from school. The case was solved yesterday. It was said that she didn't catch the bus, so she took a taxi. She didn't expect the driver to see the girl's beauty and have evil intentions. Then he kidnapped the girl to a shabby rental house in the suburbs and tortured her for an entire month. In the end, after a thorough investigation by the police, they finally found the girl in the rental house. But when they found her, she only had one breath left. Tang Zheng squeezed the newspaper into a ball and controlled the flames in his eyes. Who bought this newspaper? The maid looked at each other, not understanding why their young master would get angry when he read the newspaper. Young master, didn't you order this? The maid said cautiously, you said before that Miss doesn't go out often, so you asked her to read more books and newspapers to broaden her knowledge so that she won't be cheated by bad people outside. Therefore, he specially subscribed to the daily newspaper. Tang Zheng remembered and sat back down. After taking a deep breath, he took out his phone and dialed Tang Guo's number. His heart was pounding, and an unknown nervousness and panic was spreading. The phone rang a few times. Just as he was about to suffocate from the pressure, the phone was finally picked up. Brother. When will you arrive? There should be another 15 minutes. Brother, what's wrong? Nothing. Tang Zheng's eyes sank. Where are we now? Tang Zheng heard Tang Guo ask the driver, Driver, do you know where this is? It seems that your family is very concerned about you. The driver's voice sounded like a middle-aged man. He smiled and said, Isn't this the main street? Aren't you in a hurry to go home? I took a shortcut and got home quickly. Brother, I'll be there soon. Tang Zheng heard the middle-aged man's voice and his words and had a bad premonition. Don't hang up, I'll come pick you up. Chapter 104. Don't make a sound. Pretend to hang up the phone and put it in your bag. No matter what happens, you must stay calm and wait for me. Tang Zheng had an indescribable panic in his heart. The driver's voice was too strange. The sentence, I'll be home soon, was very suspicious. Under normal circumstances, the driver would not say this sentence. I'll be home soon. Who's home? Tang Zheng's eyes darkened as he quickly ran out of the villa. While locating Tang Guo's position, he saw the little red dot on the GPS constantly running out of the city. At the same time he was worried, he was also glad that he called in time. Tang Guo did not hang up the phone. She put the phone in her bag and looked outside with her chin propped up. The scenery outside the car window changed from the bustling neon lights to the faint dots of stars. She still had a simple smile on her face. "Driver, this doesn't seem to be the way home. Did you go the wrong way?" The driver lit a cigarette and said, "Little girl, you don't come out often, right? This is the way home. If you think it's hard to wait, you can sleep first. When we arrive, I'll wake you up." The driver secretly observed the girl in the back. He was lucky today to be able to pull in such a beautiful customer. Looking at her clothes, she should be a rich family's young miss. She was really naive and pure. He liked this kind of clean girl the most. She looked like she was above the common populace. He liked to see their helpless eyes, as well as their miserable screams. Their white faces were covered with tears. They were really delicate and pitiful. Thinking of the scene that would appear later, he was very excited. So excited that his face turned red. The car gradually sped up, and the scenery outside the car window quickly retreated. Gradually, the scattered lights disappeared. The girl sitting in the back did not seem to be so calm. Her face showed some apprehension and nervousness. Her pair of uneasy eyes were like a frightened deer. The driver's heart was beating fast. If it were not for the frequent accidents that happened to the organization members, he really wanted to stop in a place where there was no one. What a clever girl, what a delicate face. It was like a flower that had just bloomed. He could not help but destroy it. "Driver, drive back. I want to go home. This is not the way home." The driver's smile became somewhat sinister. He did not slow down, but instead sped up. "We'll be home soon. Don't worry. Stop the car, I want to get off." Seeing that the girl was about to open the door, the driver took out a sharp knife and gestured behind him. "You better behave, or I'll kill you. Be obedient, or I won't let you live to see tomorrow." His ferocious side caused the young girl to tremble in fear as she sat at the back. It was as if she had forgotten everything and could only look at him in horror. The driver was very satisfied. The young girl in the back seemed to rarely go out. She didn't even have the basic survival instinct, which saved him a lot of trouble. "Host, did you study at the University of Drama Arts before? The results should be good, right?" Look, her little face was pale, with drops of tears hanging down. She hugged her arms and shivered in the corner. She was really delicate and pitiful, like a little white flower, making people pity her. "Host, I think there's a deeper meaning behind your actions. Do you still remember a very special criminal organization mentioned in the plot?" Tang Guo appeared pitiful on the surface, but she was communicating with the system in her mind. "This driver is a member of that organization." "How do you know?" "The original owner shouldn't have seen him in her memories, right?" Chapter 105. Are you sure? The outwardly trembling Tang Guo's heart was incomparably calm. "Indeed, with your IQ, you wouldn't be able to find out. After all, you are really stupid." System. Tang Zheng's car speed had already reached its limit, and he could clearly hear the movements on Tang Guo's side. Should he be happy that his premonition was accurate, or should he be angry that his premonition was so accurate? Thinking back to the voice that came from the phone, he had already turned off the phone to prevent any sound from alerting the other side. His mind was unable to get rid of the young girl's helpless voice. There was no longer the usual soft and sweet voice. Only helplessness and panic remained. If he did not make this call today, what would she be facing next? Just thinking about it made his heart unbearably flustered, and he even increased the speed of the car. Tang Zheng's actions had already alerted the traffic police. But at this time, He did not want to deal with these matters, nor would he call the police. If the people behind wanted to chase, then let them. If the police were alerted, then Xiao Guo would definitely be in danger. Tang Jing pursed his lips and put on his earphones to listen to the movements on the other side of the phone. It was quiet, so quiet that it made people feel scared. For the first time, Tang Zheng's heart was filled with regret. He should not have let her come back alone. He should have gone to pick her up. She was only 18 years old, and from birth to university, she was carefully protected by her family, and rarely went out. Even if she did go out, there would always be a driver by her side. Tang Jing forcefully closed his eyes, and in a flash, he opened them and tightly gripped the steering wheel. The neon lights outside the car window were unable to attract his attention. His attention was only on the sounds on the other side of the phone, and the little red dot that was getting farther and farther away. It was his obsession that allowed her to come into contact with Lin Yiqi. Even if he did not like being manipulated, he should not have put her in danger. She had never done anything to hurt him. Guilt surged like a tide, but he quickly suppressed it. The most important thing now was to bring her back. Tang Jing calmed down and began to plan for any problems that might arise. Of course, he would not simply go by himself, and would not arrange for the people behind to clean up. If something unexpected happened, then it would not be good. Tang Guo did not know the change in Tang Zheng's heart, and even if she knew, she would only laugh. You really are a wretch. This is a large criminal organization, and their targets are young girls taking a taxi late at night. Although it looks like an accident, it is actually a crime committed by these members. Tang Guo and her stupid systems analysis, they have their own jobs. Among the glamorous white-collar workers, some are senior technicians, some are idle people, and some are inconspicuous employees. Shopkeeper, shop owner. There is, Tang Guo's, young girls, they, young girls, to look to see these girls they. To see, to look. To find out to see. To see. Look. They. To read. Host, if that's the case, they're a bunch of perverts. How are you so sure? The system was a little dumbfounded. This is what I deduced from Tang Guo's memories. She did not have a mental illness, but after she went to the mental hospital, she really did. Tang Guo coldly laughed in her heart. When I saw this driver, these memories became clear. Chapter 106. Host, I can feel your anger. What I hate the most are men who hit women and rapists. System, he could feel it. He had also discovered that from his previous world's experience, when the host met a rapist, the host would definitely make the other party a rootless person. That's right, host, you still haven't told me how you know that the driver is a member of that organization. Could it be that you know what the driver does during the day? He's not that stupid. Tang Guo closed her eyes. He is the director of that mental hospital. Do you know how the original body became mentally ill? She discovered his secret. He was afraid that if he killed the original body, he would be held responsible, so he injected her with a drug. This caused her to go insane, and the original body was hacked to death. In reality, he was the one who hypnotized a mental patient. Tang Guo lowered her head, the corners of her mouth curved into a mocking smile. Actually, even if he didn't do anything, the original body wouldn't have lived for long. After receiving so much stimulation, she had long given up on living. Her body and mind couldn't take it anymore. What a pitiful side character. She didn't do anything, but her ending is really laughable. I will help her get revenge. Tang Guo lowered her head. The way the corners of her mouth curved up made the system feel very scared. Every time the host wanted to destroy the world, she would reveal that kind of smile. It was very scary. Host, please calm down a little. I know that this person is very hateful, but don't be rash. That kind of method of perishing together with him is not advisable. In a society ruled by law, we have to use legal means to protect the interests of the weak. Don't you think so? The system looked at Tangwa anxiously. Host, this criminal organization has a wide range of connections. Later on, you must not disregard the consequences and kill the person. It will be difficult to escape. If you can't escape, then wouldn't those perverts get away with it? Let's think calmly about how to bring this criminal organization to justice. Pfft. Stupid. System, he's stupid, he's the stupidest person in the world. As long as the host stayed in this world, didn't cause trouble, didn't cause destruction, and lived peacefully until the day she died, it didn't matter how stupid he was. At this time, there was no light outside the car window. Unknowingly, the car drove into a very remote area. The driver did not get out of the car immediately. Instead, he took out his phone and took a picture of Tangwa with the knife in his hand. He sent Tangwa's photo to a special group chat. The group chat, which was not quiet to begin with, suddenly became lively. All the members of this group were anonymous. Anonymous, what a hot chick. I'm in luck. Anonymous, looking at her face, I just want to. Anonymous, bro, take pictures of other places, such as the important places above and below. This chick's face hardened just by looking at it. If I were to take pictures of other places. Anonymous, judging from her attire, she must be a rich family's young miss. Not bad, bro. You even managed to get your hands on this kind of woman. Where did you meet her? I'll try my luck another day. If I could play with this kind of girl, it would be worth it even if I died. Anonymous, that's one thing, but the situation has been tense recently. You guys have to be careful. Many of our people have been caught. Anonymous, it's because they're too stupid. The place they chose was too easy to find. He was also not decisive enough. Seeing that the situation was not right, he would have dealt with it decisively and cleanly. Why would there be so much trouble? The words of the group members made the driver very proud. Chapter 107. The driver also sent a message, I'll give you some benefits later. Anonymous, bro, let's start. I can't wait. Anonymous, bro, how about a live stream? Anonymous, I support you. A live stream is much more fun than just sending photos. This girl is so pretty. It's rare to have such an opportunity. The driver was actually a little tempted after hearing what the group members said. Yes, it was his first time meeting such a pretty girl. The driver became more and more excited as he read the messages from the group members. Driver, fine, I'll do a live stream. I'm not afraid of you. I'll show you today. Moreover, she's dressed so beautifully at this time. She's definitely not a decent girl. Anonymous, that's right. Girls like her who come out in the middle of the night may look high and mighty, but they're actually not decent. Anonymous, you're right. The neighborhood where I worked before was full of rich girls like her. They were so arrogant. Last time, I accidentally bumped into her because I took a second look at her. She even said that she wanted to sue me for harassing her and caused me to lose my job. I'm really unlucky to meet such a pretentious girl. If I meet her again, I won't let her off. Anonymous, when I was on the bus, the girl in front of me was dressed so scantily. The bus was so crowded, and she blamed me for bumping into her. She even told others that I purposely touched her. I even suspect that she purposely dressed like that so that she could rub against me. Anonymous, these girls are usually so high and mighty. They look down on this and that. If we were handsome and rich, we would have pounced on them long ago. Anonymous, if all the men in the world were as clear-headed as us, would those girls still dare to be so arrogant? There are too many bootlickers. These girls think that they're so great and that all the men in the world should listen to them. Host, calm down, calm down, calm down. The system was very nervous. It was afraid that Tang Guo would break the driver's neck if she didn't calm down. The driver was also a little excited as he chatted. When he was young, girls didn't like him because he was ugly. Those girls only judged people by their appearance when they were young. When they grew up, they liked money. For money, they even married people who were uglier than him. Ever since he found the organization, he felt that this was the only way to find the true meaning of life. The driver became more and more excited as he read the messages in the group. He had already forgotten what he was doing. He did not even notice when Tang Guo came to his side. Gradually, he felt that something was wrong. He turned his head and saw that Tang Guo was staring at his phone screen without blinking. He put away his phone and revealed a cruel and sinister smile. I was so engrossed in chatting that I forgot that my little sister was waiting for me. The girl in front of him was wearing a light pink dress and had a delicate face. Her deer-like eyes, curved eyebrows, and beautiful lips made him very excited. Little sister, you must be anxious from waiting. Come, uncle will bring you home. The driver pretended to come over and hug Tang Guo. Tang Guo's behavior made him think that the girl was scared silly and did not know how to struggle. Unexpectedly, when he pounced on her, Tang Guo turned around and ran away. Go away. What are you trying to do? Don't come over. Help. System, host, are you the devil? At the same time, Tang Zheng heard the screams from the phone. He angrily slapped the steering wheel and his heart was filled with endless panic. Seeing that he was getting closer and closer to the little red de, he drove and silently said, Xiaoguo, wait a little longer. I'll be there soon. Nothing will happen to you. Big brother. Chapter 108. Hearing the call for help, Tang Jing pursed his lips. The despair in her voice made Tang Jing feel very uncomfortable. You, don't come over. If you come any closer, I'll jump down. Xiao Guo. Tang Jing softly called out as his heart began to hurt, Xiao Guo, I'm coming. You'll be fine. Little girl, don't struggle. It's so late at night, no one will come. Don't jump. If you jump, your pretty little face will be scratched. It'll be ugly, very ugly. The driver's heart was filled with anger. If he had known earlier that this was not an honest girl, he would have tied her up first. These cheap women were indeed troublesome. Hurry, come over. The driver enticed, if you come over, I'll send you home, okay? Tang Guo stood on the bridge, looked down, and took a step back. Her innocent little face was filled with rejection. No, I won't go over. Stupid bitch, come over here. The driver was filled with anger. It had been a long time since someone made him so angry. His eyes were red. He raised his shining knife and walked over step by step. You think that if you don't come over, this daddy won't be able to do anything to you? You want to die? Even if you die, this daddy will fuck you once. The driver was actually trying to divert Tang Guo's attention. While he was talking to Tang Guo, he grabbed onto Tang Guo's hand and revealed a victorious smile. Just when he thought that he had succeeded, a sudden force pulled him up. Before he could react, he felt his body falling. Falling with him was the girl beside him. He stared with wide eyes. He never would have thought that the other party would want to take him down with her. He loudly shouted, no. Then, there was no then. He fell down heavily, but the height of the bridge did not take his life. He saw with his own eyes that Tang Guo also fell with him. Ignoring the pain in his body, he hatefully thought that he would definitely make this little bitch regret. Just as this thought came to his mind, he noticed movement beside him. The girl who should have been seriously injured with him actually stood up. She was still holding his knife in her hand. He was terrified. "You. What are you doing?" Tang Guo smiled at him and said innocently, "Uncle, you want to have some fun, right? I'll let you have some fun. Let's do something exciting, okay?" Tang Guo raised the knife in her hand and stabbed it into the other party's crotch. The driver screamed like a pig being slaughtered. He was in so much pain that he fainted. After doing this, Tang Guo lay down on the side. It wasn't that she wasn't injured. Her injuries weren't light, but they weren't life-threatening. She had calculated the height of the fall, and with the angle of the fall, her skills, and her mental control, she was sure that her injuries would not be light, but they would not be life-threatening. "Host, you don't have to hurt yourself to punish him." Ever since his host had collapsed, she had become crazy in doing things. If she wanted to do something, she would do it even if it cost her 800 men or the enemy 1,000. He was diagnosed with a serious mental illness. Tang Guo lay down on the side tiredly. The law can't punish him. Moreover, I also want to personally make him a rootless person. Tang Guo's lips curled into a smile. She was very happy. Then, "Host, quickly think of a way to make him mute, so that he won't accuse you." "There's no need. Who would believe the words of a mental patient? I'm just a weak girl, I'm the victim." "Oh, with your reminder, I forgot to do something." Tang Guo moved to the driver's side and pinched his joints a few times. Then, she pinched the back of his neck. The system could only hear the sound of bones cracking. If he had a heart, it would be beating fast. Chapter 109. When Tang Jing arrived, he only saw the small bag left on the bridge. He rushed to the side of the bridge and lowered his head to see the small person lying on the ground. His heart immediately felt empty. "Xiao Guo." Tang Zhang made a call while looking for directions and quickly ran towards Tang Guo. "Xiao Guo." He squatted down beside Tang Guo's voice, his hand trembling as he checked her pulse. He let out a sigh of relief. Looking at the driver beside him, especially the knife stuck in his crotch, he used his strength to step on the knife's handle, causing it to sink in even more. It was only because of his strong control that he did not kill the other party directly. No rush. It's better to live. Tang Zhang's eyes flashed with a crazed bloodlust. This man, he absolutely cannot die so easily. He wants him to taste all the pain in the world and make him wish he was dead. He tenderly caressed the young girl's pale face, not daring to touch her at all. He could only anxiously wait for the ambulance. This was the first time he felt that waiting was so long. Time passed too slowly. "Xiao Guo, Big Brother will help you take revenge. Big Brother will help you bully back the people who bullied you." "Big Brother," the young girl's weak voice caused Tang Zhang to reveal a happy expression. He laid down beside her and gently caressed her small face. "Hold on a little longer, Big Brother will immediately bring you home." "N." Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's. The originally lively young girl had become so close to death, causing his heart to ache. "From now on, I will protect Xiao Guo and will not let you come to any harm. No one will bully you, okay?" The young girl's eyes lit up and the corner of her mouth curved. "Really, Big Brother? Really?" Tang Zhang used all his strength to rub his hair. The young girl's smile pierced his heart. How could he not know that she liked to get close to him and liked to play with him? "Big Brother, you don't hate Xiao Guo anymore?" Tang Zhang's heart was about to suffocate. A grown man's eyes flickered with tears. Big Brother has never hated Xiaoguo. The young girl's eyes lit up again and the corner of her mouth curved more and more as her smile grew. That's great. Big Brother, I'm a little sleepy. The girl's voice became softer and softer. I want to sleep, but I don't dare to. I'm afraid that when I wake up, my brother still won't like Xiaoguo. Xiaoguo, hold on a little longer. Don't fall asleep. Then, listen to Big Brother. Xiaoguo, hold on a little longer. Tang Zheng stood guard in the ward, fiddling with a phone in his hand. This mobile phone was not Tang Guo's, but the one that Tang Guo had been holding in her hand. The contents were infuriating. Looking at those filthy words, he couldn't help but smash his phone. However, he did not do so. There were too many things involved with this phone. He lovingly looked at the girl who had yet to wake up, and the anger in his chest rose and died down. Xiaoguo pursed her lips. Since she wanted to grab the phone at that time, it was obvious that she valued the information inside. It wasn't hard for him to guess what the girl wanted to do, and he wanted to do the same. He couldn't imagine what would have happened if he had arrived a little later and Xiaoguo hadn't jumped off the bridge and was caught by the driver. Tang Zheng stood up and touched the girl's forehead. His eyes flashed with a trace of blood. Xiaoguo, if you want to do something, then Big Brother will help you. He walked out of the ward with a warm smile on his face. The nurses passing by saw Tang Zheng walk by, and their hearts couldn't help but beat wildly. There is something that you should be interested in, but the prerequisite is that you dare to accept it. Tang Zheng stood in the corner, holding on to his phone. I heard that you have a headache over the recent disappearance of many girls. Chapter 110. Tang Guo leaned against the headboard as she scrolled through the latest news on her phone. Her lips curled into a faint smile as if she was very happy. Host, Tang Zheng did everything you wanted him to do. The system couldn't help but say. It had to be said that he was amazing. He's pretty good. As expected of someone who could mess with both the male and female leads. Tang Guo said after a moment of silence. I'm a little curious. Someone with that kind of IQ, that kind of connections, and that kind of methods. How did Lin Yiqi end up killing him? After crossing through so many worlds, she felt that it was very strange. There were many people who were better than the male and female lead, but in the end, because of some unreasonable things, they failed. These failures undoubtedly caused this character to collapse in the end. After all, with such intelligence and methods, how could he be killed so easily? Tang Guo glanced at the content of the news. It was mainly about a certain mental hospital in the city that caught a few criminals who caused the disappearance of young girls. It even revealed that there were many female mental patients who were violated by the doctors. Originally, she planned to clean up after leaving the hospital. She didn't think that Tang Zheng would be able to connect so many things just by looking at the phone and the director, who was the driver from before. If Lin Yiqi didn't have the so-called main character aura, the winner could only be Tang Zheng. So, she was very curious. The plot didn't mention much about the two fighting. It only mentioned that when Tang Zheng was about to give the two a fatal blow, he suddenly stopped all his plans. Then, the two fought again and Tang Zheng lost. How he lost was not mentioned at all. After all, at that time, Tang Guo was already dead. This plot was from the system and not from Tang Guo's memory. Maybe it was fate. After all, Lin Yiqi was the male lead. The system said weakly. Its intuition told it that the host didn't like to hear these words. As expected, Tang Guo snorted and continued to scroll through the news. Currently, as long as the members of the group were talking, they were all arrested. Even the forums where they communicated were taken over. There were quite a few people who were arrested, and a few of them had special identities. However, being arrested didn't mean that they would be convicted. The police said that they would investigate them one by one. If they didn't hurt anyone, they could only be released. The outside world was already in a state of panic. Tang Guo was very curious. What did Tang Jing do to make the police so cooperative? Her eyes flashed. When Tang Jing came in, he saw a young girl playing with her phone. Her mouth was curved, and she seemed to be in a good mood. He also smiled. He liked to see such a lively girl. Mom and Dad will be here tomorrow. Tang Jing walked over and sat beside Tang Guo. Are you feeling better today? Much better. Tang Guo put away her phone. Brother, have you been very busy recently? I'm done. Tang Zheng's originally cold face softened. Xiao Guo, are you bored in the hospital? It's all right. Tang Guo paused and looked at Tang Jing strangely. What is it? The girl's wet and cute eyes made him feel at a loss. Brother, you're different from before. Tang Jing choked, his voice soft. How is it different? I feel that my brother is more willing to talk to me than before. Hearing these words, Tang Jing felt a bit uncomfortable. If he was unhappy, so be it. Xiao Guo had always liked to get close to him. He never thought that his awkwardness would hurt this innocent girl. Chapter 111. Tang Jing left the hospital and thought back to Tang Guo's words, Brother, if you keep being so close to me, then I want to stay in the hospital forever. Even if it's for the rest of your life, that's fine. The young girl's gaze when she said those words could not be erased from his mind. Tang Jing raised his head to look at the sky and lowered his head to laugh. Forget it, I'll do as she wishes. Why would he bother with a child? Looking at her pitiful appearance, he really couldn't reject her. Thinking back to the young girl's gaze, his heart softened. How could he reject her? At the Tang Corporation, all the employees felt as if they had seen a ghost. Their young boss Tang, commonly known as the Devil, had a smile on his face the entire time at work. Even if his subordinates made a small mistake, he would smile and say that it was fine as long as they corrected it. If it was in the past, they would have seen the Devil's face change at any moment and would have definitely scolded the project manager. How could he be so amiable? Did Xiao Guo eat lunch today? The assistant froze for a moment before hurriedly replying, I just called to ask. Miss ate lunch 10 minutes ago. And, send her afternoon tea on time. Ask her if there's anything she wants to play with and bring it to her. Tell someone to keep an eye on her. Don't play with her phone or computer for too long. At most 2 hours, then let her rest. The assistant hurriedly nodded, indicating that he would pay attention. He did not feel that anything was wrong. The person his boss Tang was talking about was the family's little princess. The little princess was someone who had appeared on the news before. According to the news, the little princess met a pervert. Not only did she not submit, but she also maintained contact with boss Tang and fought with the pervert without fear. In the end, she accidentally fell off the bridge. Luckily, the bridge was made of stone and was not very high, otherwise. Just thinking about it made him feel a wave of fear. If it was any higher, he might have lost his life. It was said that when he fell, the pervert was unlucky enough to be castrated by his own knife. Who knows if it was because too much time had passed or because the doctor did not like this type of pervert, but in the end, there was no possibility of reattaching his manhood. He also heard through the grapevine that the pervert's injuries were very serious. Even though he did not die, his entire body was paralyzed. He only wanted to say, retribution. In the end, the other party did not seem to give up. He even slandered the little princess for castrating him. Then, the doctor diagnosed him. It turned out that this guy had a serious mental illness. His mental illness would not act up under normal circumstances. He looked like a normal person. Once he acted up, he would be a pervert. Then, there was nothing he could do. He was mentally ill. Even if he was a pervert, he had to be sent to a mental hospital, right? However, there was a twist later on. This guy's identity turned out to be the director of a mental hospital. What followed was a series of scandals involving the sexual assault of mentally ill women in the mental hospital. The contents of the scandals were outrageous. "Do I have any plans this afternoon?" The assistant quickly reacted. "There's a meeting at 3:00. Tang Zheng glanced at it and said, "It's not important, cancel it." How could the assistant have any objections? He hurriedly went to make the arrangements. Boss Tang was worried about the little princess, wasn't he? That's right. In this kind of situation, even the devil wouldn't be able to sit still. Tang Zheng was busy for a few hours as he quickly rushed to the hospital. When he thought of the way that little girl looked at him, his gaze became gentler and gentler. Actually, it was not a bad thing to have such a sister who worshipped and was close to him. He didn't seem to need to refuse. Chapter 112. After getting out of the car, Tang Zheng saw a flower shop next to the hospital. He turned and walked in the direction of the flower shop. "Sir, do you want to buy flowers?" Tang Zheng glanced at it and nodded. "Is it for your girlfriend?" Tang Zheng paused and said, "Sister." The fresh flower girl, who originally wanted to recommend a girl's favorite red rose to Tang Zheng, stopped and smiled, then send lilies. "Sir's sister should be a little angel in your heart, right?" Tang Zheng looked at the lily. It was white and bloomed just right, just like Xiaogua's happy smile. Angel, yes, Xiaogua is an angel, as beautiful as an angel. He decisively bought a bouquet of lilies before walking to the hospital. Being that gentleman's sister must be very happy, right? Being a girlfriend is also very happy. That gentleman looks like a very gentle person. The fresh flower girl's words drilled into Tang Zheng's ears and he paused for a moment. He shook his head and didn't know if Xiaoguo felt as happy as her brother. Thinking of his previous care and indifference, he didn't feel good. He had almost lost her. Tang Zheng pushed open the ward with a spring-like smile. When he saw the situation inside, his smile disappeared. He walked into the ward expressionlessly and glanced at the vase with a bunch of red roses. He felt that it was particularly dazzling. How could that bunch of vulgar red roses be worthy of Xiaogua? Resisting the urge to take down the red roses and throw them away, Tang Zheng walked over with a fake smile. "Boss Lin. I only found out this morning that Xiaogua had an accident. At that time, I was still talking about a project in another place and rushed back without stopping." Lin Yiqi said with some regret, "I really didn't expect such a thing to happen." Lin Yiqi didn't say this, but when he did, it reminded Tang Zheng that if Xiaogua hadn't gone to find the other party, such an accident wouldn't have happened. Speaking of which, Xiaogua had an accident because Lin Yiqi didn't see her. Tang Zheng was originally dissatisfied with Lin Yiqi, and now he was directly disgusted. "Xiaogua, if you want to go anywhere in the future, you have to call me, in case something like this happens again." Lin Yiqi even expressed his loyalty to Tang Gua. It wasn't that Lin Yi was careless, it was just that Tang Gua seemed to really like him. In the upper-class circle, there were many people who admired him. He was used to it and naturally did not pay much attention to it. On the contrary, he was more attracted to Gu Qingqing, a mischievous girl who was sometimes noisy and sometimes quiet. Spending time with Gu Qingqing every day felt refreshing to him. He had seen too many rich ladies like Tang Gua. If his parents hadn't insisted on his marriage, he wouldn't have been willing to get in touch with Tang Gua. Initially, he did not want to come into contact with Tang Gua. However, some time ago, an illegitimate son of the Lin family appeared out of nowhere. If he really resisted, his father could not guarantee that the illegitimate child would be promoted. Xiaogua, I'll come, and Lin Yiqi had his own things to do, and it was a critical time. That illegitimate son had been very active recently, he didn't want to waste too much time here. In his opinion, Tang Guo already liked him a lot. When the two families met, the marriage between the two of them was set in stone. On the contrary, he didn't know how to explain this to Qingqing. He had already thought about it. He would marry her and treat her as a decoration. When he took control of the Lin family, he would divorce her. Chapter 113. After Lin Yiqi left with a heavy heart, Tang Jing coldly laughed. He turned around and saw Tang Guo looking at him curiously. He lightly coughed and picked up the lily. Xiaogua, do you like roses or lilies? Lilies. Her unhesitant answer made Tang Jing strangely satisfied. He smiled, then can brother take the roses from the vase? Sure. Tang Guo innocently replied, her eyes staring at the lily as if she really liked it. This made Tang Jing feel that there was nothing wrong with him throwing away the roses. His Xiaoguo liked lilies, not roses. He casually picked up the roses and carefully placed the lily into the vase. He put on a fake smile, it's a pity to throw it away. I'll give it to someone else. Tang Guo nodded her head and watched Tang Jing leave the room. Tang Jing, who walked out of the room, put away the smile on his face and went to the trash can. He forcefully rubbed the delicate rose petals and threw them into the trash can with a cold smile. The smile on his face was very dangerous and even a bit perverted. Tang Jing, who returned to the room, had a gentle smile, not at all like someone who would destroy flowers. Does Xiaoguo like Lin Yiqi? Tang Guo looked up, brother, why do you ask this? Tang Zheng was a bit regretful. Even though Lin Yiqi was more outstanding than his peers, after interacting with him, he felt that he was not good enough for Tang Guo. Moreover, in his heart, he didn't want Xiaoguo to like him. Xiaoguo only said, do you like him? Tang Jing didn't know that his heart was a bit anxious and even a bit afraid. He was afraid that she really liked Lin Yiqi. Tang Guo laughed in her heart and innocently said, didn't brother say that brother Lin is good? Could it be that what brother said was wrong? I shouldn't like him. Tang Guo didn't admit that she liked him, nor did she say that she didn't like him. She directly threw the blame to Tang Jing. This way, Tang Jing couldn't say anything. Yes, he said that Lin Yiqi was good and that it was because of him that they could get to know each other. He didn't seem to be in a position to say whether Lin Yiqi was good or not. Tang Jing fell into a dilemma and even confirmed that Tang Guo liked Lin Yiqi. He wasn't happy with this conclusion at all. He didn't ask Tang Guo if she liked Lin Yiqi, nor did he say anything bad about Lin Yiqi. If Xiaoguo really liked her, she wouldn't believe it no matter what he said. Unless, of course, he had proof that Lin Yiqi wasn't a good person at all. It seemed that it was time for him to investigate Lin Yi properly. The next day, the family Tang couple rushed to the hospital. Dong Mei hugged Tang Guo and cried for a long time. When she heard the news, she almost fainted. At that time, they were traveling abroad. The transportation there was not as convenient as it was in China, which made them very anxious. Fortunately, when they found out that their little princess was not in danger, they heaved a sigh of relief. Guogua has lost weight. Dong Mei looked sad as she glared at Tang Liqing. We shouldn't have gone out this time. Otherwise, Guogua wouldn't have gotten into trouble. Tang Liqing did not dare to speak. He looked embarrassed and his eyes were also staring at Tang Guo. The love in his eyes was no less than Dong Mei's. After all, this was the little princess that he held in his hands. That bridge was so high that it almost took his little princess away. When the couple thought of the terrible consequences, they felt scared. The two of them inquired about Tang Guo's well-being for a while before calling Tang Jing out. Dad, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't protect Xiao Guo well. The couple looked at each other and couldn't bear to blame him. This kind of thing couldn't be blamed on Tang Jing. If he didn't find out in time, they might not have been able to see Guo Guo. Chapter 114. Little Zheng, let's have a chat. Tang Liqing's words caused Tang Zheng to tremble. He looked at Tang Liqing and Dong Mei, both of whom were serious, before finally nodding his head. The three of them left the hospital together. It was clear that the hospital was not a good place to talk. The three of them directly returned to the villa and went to Tang Liqing's study. Dong Mei wanted to say something but hesitated. Tang Liqing gave her a reassuring look, so she could only helplessly nod her head and sit to the side, no longer speaking. Dad, you can speak. Tang Liqing looked at the handsome youth in front of him and thought about how the youth had been outstanding since he was young. Now that the Tang Corporation was managed well by the other party, his heart felt gratified. That year when I brought you back from the orphanage, I also had the intention of raising you well. Tang Liqing opened his mouth and did not beat around the bush. You are also outstanding enough and have never disappointed me. You are very outstanding. Tang Liqing was not stingy with his praise. Now you don't need me to do anything and you can manage the Tang Corporation well. Originally, your mother and I had a plan. Tang Zheng's heart skipped a beat as he guessed this plan. It is because of that plan that we raised you as the successor of the Tang Corporation and also as a son-in-law. Tang Liqing's words were very direct, only, now it seems that we have not asked for your opinion. At this point, Dong Mei also opened her mouth. Regarding this point, Mom and Dad will first apologize to you. We thought that Guo Guo liked to get close to you and that you would accept our arrangement. This time Guo Guo's accident, I have thought it through. Tang Liqing smiled. Actually, we can see that you do not have that kind of feelings for Guo Guo. So, from now on, we will not mention the matter of you being a son-in-law. You are still my, Tang Liqing's, son, and the successor of the Tang Corporation is still you. Our only request is that you must properly protect Guo Guo and not let her be bullied. Dong Mei's eyes were filled with tears. Guo Guo is a simple child, so you must take care of her. In the future, if she likes someone, you must help look after him. It would be best if that person is willing to marry into the family. If Guo Guo is not willing to marry, then Mom asks you to take care of her and protect her for the rest of her life. Little Zheng, you must remember, if it is not a big matter, you must not provoke Guo Guo. Dong Mei warned him seriously with tears in her eyes. She can't take it. In the future, when your father and I are no longer around, you must protect her well and take care of her carefully. She won't take up too much of your time. Just let her live in peace and happiness for the rest of her life. I'll take good care of Xiao Guo. Tang Zheng could faintly feel that there was something hidden in Dong Mei's words, but this thought only flashed through his mind as he thought that the two were scared out of their wits because of what happened this time. That was why he decided to lay his cards on the table with him. Actually, even if the two of them did not say anything, he would still take good care of Tang Guo after this incident. He would not act like he did in the past. With her innocent and pitiful look, he couldn't bear to ignore her. After Tang Jing agreed, Madame Tang's husband and wife all laughed. They understood Tang Jing very well. Once he promised something, he would definitely do it. Therefore, they were not worried about this. In the past, we were wrong. Tang Liqing sighed. From now on, little Zheng will treat us as normal parents. Let bygones be bygones. Tang Zheng nodded his head. He did not hate Madame Tang's husband and wife. If it were not for their existence, then there would not be the Tang Zheng of today. On the contrary, he was grateful. He just did not like having his life arranged by others. Chapter 115. Ever since that conversation, the relationship between Tang Jing and Tang Liqing and his wife had become much closer. The two seemed to understand because they understood Tang Jing very well. After 100 years, Tang Jing would definitely not forget their words and would definitely take good care of Tang Guo. Right now, they just wanted to spend more time with their daughter and make her happy. Their daughter would be taken care of by Tang Jing in the future, so they didn't need to force a son-in-law to take care of their daughter. They understood, but the Lin family didn't. When the Lin family found out that something had happened to Tang Guo, they all came to the hospital to visit. Tang Liqing and his wife were puzzled by the sudden visit of the Lin family. Xiao Guo, this child, I like him. Duan Lihong, Lin Yiqi's mother, affectionately pulled on Dong Mei. It's all those perverts' fault. Luckily, Xiao Guo was lucky. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. When she heard the news, Duan Lihong was also shocked. Luckily, Tang Guo was still alive. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to connect with the Lin family. She heard from her son that Tang Guo seemed to like him a lot. Duan Lihong was waiting for the family to come back so that she could talk to them about the marriage between the two families. When I heard Yiqi talk about Xiao Guo, I wanted him to bring him back so that I could meet him. I didn't think that our first meeting would be here. Duan Lihong helplessly smiled. When I heard that something had happened to Xiao Guo, my heart was in a mess. I couldn't wait to come over. Dong Mei finally understood. It turned out that when she wasn't here, her Guo had gotten involved with the Lin family's young master. She looked at Lin Yiqi, who was standing beside Duan Lihong, and couldn't help but nod her head. He was indeed handsome. It was said that he had just returned from abroad and was managing a few of the Lin family's good projects. He had a dignified appearance and his personal ability wasn't bad. Currently, he looked like an outstanding young man. She just didn't know if he showed it on the surface. Dong Mei didn't think that Lin Yiqi could become her son-in-law just because of a few words from Duan Lihong. No matter how good it was, Xiao Guo had to like it. That was the most important thing. Most importantly, she was still considering that Xiao Guo would be happy for the rest of his life. The Lin family seemed to be more complicated. If he really went to the Lin family, would he be wronged? Dong Mei frowned. She did not want her little princess to do what the young mistress of the Lin family wanted to do because of a man. This was her baby. How could she do such a thing? When Duan Lihong saw Dong Mei's expression, her heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the other party was not satisfied? It was true that the Lin family was much worse than the Tang family. However, in this city, how many families could compare to the Tang family? The Lin family was one of the more prominent ones among them. These two kids got along well before, Duan Lihong said with a smile. She looked at Tang Guo with a gentle gaze. If you're still worried, you can let them be together. They're young and they can make their own decisions. If they think it's suitable, we adults will help them make arrangements. We won't interfere too much. That's what I think. I don't know what Mei thinks. When Dong Mei heard this, she was satisfied. I don't like to interfere with these things. If my Guo likes it, they can be together. However, Dong Mei was thinking in her heart that she should ask her husband to keep an eye on Lin Yiqi and see if he was a young man who liked to play tricks. She didn't want her precious Guo to be fooled. Chapter 116. After Lin Yiqi and Duan Lihong greeted Tang Guo and left, Dong Mei hurriedly closed the door. Does Guo like Lin Yiqi? Dong Mei was very nervous, her palms were sweaty. Do you like him a little, a lot, or even a lot? Tang Guo paused and immediately understood why Dong Mei was nervous. Dong Mei saw that her daughter didn't reply and her heart sank. Could it be that she liked him a lot? Mom, what are you talking about? Dong Mei came back to her senses and touched her daughter's forehead, her eyes gentle. Since Guoguo likes him, then Mom will help you test him and see if he is worthy of our Guoguo. Tanggua, if he isn't worthy, then Guoguo must have him. Your dad and I will think of a way to change him until he is the most outstanding and worthy of Guoguo. Only then will you consider marriage. Tanggua, system, the script is wrong, right? Tanggua also didn't react. Dong Mei's brain circuit was even more strange than hers. She actually wanted to change Lin Yiqi, this trash. Host, the script is correct. Originally, Dong Mei and her husband wanted to do this. However, the original owner didn't agree to let them change Lin Yiqi. As for the reason, doesn't the host already know? Tanguo laughed in her heart. That's right, the original owner liked Tang Jing so naturally, she didn't want the Tang family's wife to waste time changing Lin Yiqi. She married Lin Yiqi because Tang Jing thought that Lin Yiqi was good and wanted her to marry Tang Jing. Guogua, don't worry about anything. If Lin Yiqi isn't good enough, your dad and I will make him good enough. You don't need to worry about this. In the future, you just need to accept a good man. Tanggua held Dong Mei's hand and smiled sweetly. Mom, it's okay. Don't teach someone else's son because of me. Dong Mei heard this and froze. She looked at her daughter carefully. Guogua, you don't like Lin Yiqi. Tanggua stood up and whispered into Dong Mei's ear. Mom, do you think I'll like Lin Yiqi? The original owner of this body was not stupid. She had always been a smart person. Mrs. Tang also did not think that her daughter was a fool. It was just that she had little contact with the outside world. At most, she was a little naive. Mom, haven't you always known who I like? Hearing this, Dong Mei seemed to have thought of something and her eyes were filled with tears. She sighed and rubbed her daughter's head. It's just that little Jing, that child. Mom, don't force brother. Tanggua lowered her eyes and whispered, I don't want to see my brother sad. I want him to be happy. It doesn't matter if he likes me or not. Yes, the original owner's parents knew that she liked Tang Jing. The original owner of the body spent a lot of effort to persuade the two of them to secretly help Tang Jing when he was starting his business. How could they not understand her intentions? This was a silly girl who was silently giving her all for love. In the end, the person she was protecting turned around and cut her until she was covered in wounds. Then what about Lin Yiqi? Dong Mei hesitated. She understood Tanggua's intentions but she did not consider Lin Yiqi. Tanggua hugged Dong Mei and said in a low voice, Mom, he's just a greedy scumbag. The Lin family is not a good person. Whatever they want to do, you just have to watch and see. Don't worry, I won't get hurt. I will let them understand that the family's little princess is not someone they can casually scheme against. Her daughter's proud words made Dong Mei laugh. She poked her daughter's forehead. You really have a lot of ideas. Chapter 117. Our Guogua is so outstanding, why is it that the heavens don't treat you better? Dong Mei sighed and touched her daughter's forehead. Little Zheng, that child is also good, but it's a pity, falling from such a high place. Are there any other problems with her body? Dong Mei asked worriedly. Even though there were no problems with her baby's body after all these years, the doctor said that there was a small probability of it happening, so she was still worried. Tanggua shook her head. There are no problems, she can be discharged in a few days. Ever since Dong Mei and her husband came back, other than Tang Liqing who occasionally went to the company, the two husbands basically stayed at the hospital to accompany their little princess. They said that the family Tang spoiled their daughter badly and spoiled her into a little princess. The outside world might think that it was exaggerated, but Duan Lihong, who occasionally came to the hospital, truly understood. The outside world's rumors were not as exaggerated as the two husbands. Seeing how much the two husbands liked Tang Guo, she began to plan in her heart. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that as long as her son married the little princess of the Tang family, it would be extremely beneficial for the Lin family. Even though Tang Zheng was the successor of the family Tang, the outside world knew that he was just an adopted son. She did not believe that when the time came to distribute the shares, Tang Liqing and his wife would let their daughter suffer, especially their own daughter. Most likely, they would let Tang Jing manage the company and take a small portion of the shares, while the majority would be given to their daughter. In the future, when Tang Guo becomes a member of the Lin family, this portion of the shares would naturally belong to the Lin family. Duan Lihong was more and more satisfied. Just based on these shares, she was very satisfied with this daughter-in-law. Even if her temper was bad, she could even bring her home as a mascot. Moreover, when she comes to the Lin family in the future, wouldn't she be part of the Lin family? As long as she taught her well, she would definitely be obedient. Seeing that Tang Guo was about to be discharged, her son did not come to the hospital, making Duan Lihong somewhat dissatisfied. This was the time to express his sincerity, so she did not know what was going on. "Aw, May, I won't accompany you guys today. I have some things to take care of," Duan Lihong said and looked at Tang Guo. "Xiao Guo is about to be discharged, right? When you're discharged, remember to come to my house to play. Your brother Lin talks about you every day. It's just that there are some problems with the company recently that he has to deal with." However, he didn't forget about Xiao Guo. "Every day, he asked me to send his regards to you. He even asked me, as his mother, to bring you flowers." Duan Lihong looked at the red roses in the vase and felt very satisfied. Fortunately, Yi Qi had a mother like her who took care of everything. Otherwise, with his temperament, the daughter-in-law that was already in his hands would slip away. "Mom, did brother send flowers today?" Tang Guo asked as soon as Duan Lihong left. Dong Mei smiled helplessly. She turned around and picked up a bouquet of budding lilies. "It's already here." Wasn't it because Duan Lihong hadn't left yet, and she was too embarrassed to change? Her daughter liked lilies, but Lin Yiqi had sent her roses. He probably didn't care about her baby at all. In short, Lin Yiqi could not get past Dong Mei. Moreover, after Tang Guo expressed her attitude, the two husbands did not take the Lin family seriously. Just as Dong Mei put the lilies away, Tang Jing arrived. He immediately saw the red roses that were taken out. His eyes flashed with a trace of light. He first asked about Tang Guo's health with concern, then looked at the roses. "I'll throw it out." Naturally, this bouquet of roses did not escape Tang Zheng's ruthless destruction at the end of its life. Chapter 118. You must be bored to death, right? Recently, Tang Zheng had been using his fastest speed to deal with the company's matters and rushed to the hospital without stopping. He might not know why, but every day, he was eager to see that pitiful little girl. Thinking of her eager, wet eyes, no matter how hard his heart was, it would melt into a puddle of water. "It's okay." Tang Jing gently rubbed Tang Guo's head. The feeling was not bad, and he was so happy that the corner of his mouth hooked up. He was a little annoyed. In fact, Xiao Guo was very cute. He had missed a lot of time with her, so he felt a little regretful. Behind them, there were two tall and strong bodyguards, as well as a very healthy and beautiful female bodyguard, who was also Tang Guo's personal assistant. After that incident, Tang Jing specifically chose these people for her. He originally thought that Tang Guo would not like it, but he did not expect her to accept it so readily. Instead, she looked very happy. Thinking of such an obedient Xiao Guo, the lines on his face softened. "Brother, what you said before, is it true?" Tang Jing woke up from his daydream and met the young girl's uneasy eyes. He could not help but feel his heart ache. Just how afraid was she that he did not like her? His coldness in the past had really caused her a lot of harm. He gently hugged the young girl and patted her back. It's true. That's good. Brother has to keep his promise. In the future, you are not allowed to dislike Xiaoguo, not allowed to hate Xiaoguo, and not allowed to chase away Xiaoguo. Tangguo raised her head, her face serious. If brother makes a mistake again, Xiaoguo will never forgive you. If brother hates Xiaoguo again, Xiaoguo will disappear from this world forever, so that you will never be able to find her. The young girl's serious words made Tang Jing have a feeling that she could float away at any time. This feeling made him panic. He had completely forgotten how much he had rejected contact with the girl in front of him. At this time, he only wanted to hold her tightly and be careful not to lose her. Tightly pursing his thin lips, he used all his strength to hug the young girl's shoulders, and said in a low and hoarse voice, "I won't." Sure enough, hearing this, the young girl happily laughed. "I'll keep that in mind." Xiaoguo. The sudden appearance of a male voice interrupted the harmonious atmosphere. Lin Yiqi tried his best to control his expression. He'd had a little bit of a good impression of Tangguo before this. His good impression of Duan Lihong had disappeared after Duan Lihong told him countless times how good Tangguo was and asked him to marry her as soon as possible. In his opinion, Tangguo was just a scheming girl from a rich family. She couldn't say anything in front of him, so she used tricks to persuade his mother. He had seen a lot of rich and scheming women like her in recent years. After seeing so many of them, especially Tangguo, who he thought was pure and innocent, he became even more impatient. Recently, he and Qing Qing got along very well. If it weren't for the current family Tang situation, he really wanted to bring Qing Qing home. But when he thought of Qing Qing's background, the Lin family would definitely not accept it. Unless he controlled the entire Lin clan, there would be no future between him and Qing Qing. He didn't want Qing Qing to be wronged, so he could only carefully hide her, but this still made him feel wronged. "I heard that you're going to be discharged tomorrow. It just so happens that the company's matters are settled." Lin Yiqi revealed a perfect smile. "Sorry, I've been busy before and didn't have time to come and see you. After you're discharged, I'll make it up to you." Lin Yiqi thought that Tangguo already had deep feelings for him. Chapter 119. The moment Lin Yiqi appeared, Tang Jing noticed that Tangguo was clutching the corner of his shirt tightly. There was a look of struggle and confusion on the girl's face. While he was looking at her, she was also looking at him. There was a hurt look in her eyes, as if she was an abandoned deer. Tang Jing couldn't understand what was wrong with his Xiaoguo. She was fine just now, but the moment Lin Yiqi appeared, Xiaoguo became like this. Thus, Tang Jing found Lin Yiqi even more unpleasant. He glanced at Lin Yiqi, especially when he saw that the other party was holding a bouquet of blooming red roses. His voice was cold. "President Lin, Xiaoguo doesn't like roses." Lin Yiqi couldn't hold back his smile, but he held it in. "I thought Xiaoguo liked roses." "Then what kind of flowers does Xiaoguo like? Next time, I'll bring you something you like." On the surface, he was smiling, but on the inside, he was cursing. This was probably Lin Yiqi's mood. "Xiaoguo doesn't like anything you give her." When Tang Jing spoke, he deliberately observed Tangguo's expression. He whispered in her ear, "Xiaoguo, big brother doesn't think Lin Yiqi is a good person." Although it was very soft, Lin Yiqi was standing closer. Tang Zhang's words were clearly transmitted into his ears. Lin Yiqi tried hard to control his expression so that his face wouldn't crack. This Tang Zhang was too much. A cold light flashed in Lin Yiqi's eyes. Originally, he didn't plan to do anything to the family. But now, with Tang Zhang's attitude, he would one day control the entire Tang group and step on this arrogant man in front of him. Xiaogua, believe Big Brother, this person is not suitable for you. What was worse than being badmouthed in front of your face? Lin Yiqi deeply felt the deep malice from Tang Zheng. Tang Guo grabbed Tang Zheng's sleeve and raised her head. The corner of her mouth lifted into a smile, as if she was proud of listening to her big brother, whatever Big Brother says. Lin Yiqi, can you not be so opinionated? What happened to the deep love? Tang Zheng was abnormally satisfied. His Xiaogua didn't seem to like Lin Yiqi as much as he imagined. Boss Tang, don't you think you've crossed the line? Even if Lin Yiqi was a ninja turtle, he couldn't stand being provoked and badmouthed in front of his face. Tang Jing smiled, too much. What is Boss Lin referring to? Xiaogua is already an adult. Didn't Boss Tang go overboard with his words just now? Lin Yiqi frowned. She should have her own opinions and thoughts. Even if Boss Tang dotes on his girl, you shouldn't be so involved in Xiaogua's relationship. Lin Yiqi thought that his actions were very reasonable. He didn't think that Tang Guo didn't like him, he only thought that it was because of Tang Zheng's restriction. However, he was destined to be angered to death today. My brother's opinion is my opinion. Tang Guo said seriously and truthfully, I like my brother to be involved in everything about me, including my feelings and my life. After speaking, she raised her chin. Boss Lin, please don't slander my brother. It seems like my brother doesn't like Boss Lin. The girl's white face flashed with acute coldness. Then, Boss Lin, please don't appear in my sight in the future. I don't like to see my brother unhappy because of your appearance. The veins on Lin Yiqi's forehead were throbbing. The girl spat out one sentence after another, and his face became darker and darker. He had never felt that there was anything that could make him lose face like this. Chapter 120. Also, I hate roses. You are such a vulgar person. When chasing girls, you only know how to send flowers, and they are the most tacky roses. Not romantic at all. Do I look like a good match for red roses? I always thought that I was an angel and that I was suited for pure white roses. Lin Yiqi, it seems like there is a reason why Big Brother hates you. I don't want to talk anymore. The more I talk, the more I'll hate you. I'm afraid that I won't be able to control myself and will get my bodyguards to beat you up. So, you should leave. Remember, don't appear in Big Brother's line of sight. Big Brother really doesn't like you. The system had been watching silently all this while. Finally, it commented, You're amazing, my host. He thought that this was how a spoiled and arrogant little princess was like. If anger could explode, Lin Yiqi would have already exploded. You, very good. Tang Guo, Tang Jing, the Tang family, Lin Yiqi threw the roses to the side and coldly laughed. He had never been humiliated like this before. He looked at Tang Guo as if he wanted to remember her. Do you want to remember my face and take revenge? Tang Guo lifted her chin, no need to go through so much trouble. You can take a picture. This lady won't mind. Lin Yiqi clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles cracked. In the end, he left without looking back. This was a great humiliation. Naughty. Tang Jing couldn't help but rub the girl's head, Xiaogua doesn't like him. He didn't expect this result and felt a faint joy in his heart. As for her behavior just now, he didn't find it strange at all. Xiaogua was the little princess of the family Tang family. Other than being a little obedient in front of her family, her personality wasn't gentle at all. It should be said that she was a little unruly. I don't like him. Didn't Big Brother say that he is good? Tang Guo lowered her eyes. If Big Brother didn't say that he is good, I wouldn't play with him. Tang Zheng's heart trembled. He never would have thought that the final answer would be like this. His eyes flashed with complex emotions and he didn't say anything. There were some things that he needed to think about. Ichi, what happened to you? Gu Qingqing opened the door and was hugged tightly. This man was so strong that she couldn't push him away at all. Ichi, my dad is still inside. How could she not be moved by such an outstanding man? Lin Ichi had helped her a lot recently, and she couldn't live without him anymore. Qingqing. Can I hug you? Gu Qingqing guessed that Lin Ichi might have met with a setback. Ichi, did something happen to you? Could it be your father's illegitimate son? Lin Ichi frowned. No. He looked at Gu Qingqing's delicate face and couldn't help but recall the arrogant look on Tang Guo's face when she scolded people. Her face was as delicate as an angel's, but he didn't expect that the soul inside was so dirty. He had no choice but to marry such a woman. Qingqing, be my woman. Gu Qingqing blushed and didn't know how to answer. If you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes. Lin Ichi tyrannically declared, from now on, you are mine. Gu Qingqing didn't have time to say anything before Lin Ichi picked her up and ran down the stairs. Gu Qingqing was pressed into the narrow car seat and the man's pheromones made her mind a little muddled. She was quickly immersed in Lin Ichi's deep kiss. Chapter 121. Qingqing, you're finally mine. Gu Qingqing was still in Lin Ichi's embrace, looking a little dazed. Feeling Lin Ichi's deep affection, she buried her head shyly. Although things had developed too quickly, her first time was in a car. This was something she couldn't accept in the past. But looking at Lin Ichi's affectionate face, she seemed to be able to feel his joy. She couldn't help but be impatient. Since they both liked each other, wasn't it normal to do something like this? As for where they did it, what did it matter? Ichi, do you like me a lot? Gu Qingqing still asked carefully. At this moment, her body and heart belonged to this man. No matter what his family background was, this man could only be hers. She pursed her lips. She still needed a firm answer. Qingqing, I don't like you. Gu Qingqing's heart trembled and her face turned pale. Lin Ichi felt his heart ache. His Qingqing was so pure and beautiful. He hurriedly hugged her and bit her ear. His voice was low and hoarse. I love you. Gu Qingqing immediately cried and revealed a happy smile. She couldn't help but punch the man in front of her. You scared me to death. Why are you so bad? Baby, I'm even worse. The car was filled with harmony. TSK TSK TSK. System, he chose not to speak. As expected of the male lead. It's already been 5 times, right? No, I should say as expected of the female lead. I'm a little curious. Do they treat their bodies differently from normal people? Tang Guo stared curiously at the video and sighed. Unfortunately, the original body's lifespan is not long. Otherwise, I would be very interested in studying their corpses. System, actually, you can dissect the male and female leads after killing them, but he wouldn't say it out loud. No, if they were killed, this world would collapse and his host would have to go to the next world. It's a pity that he died before he could shine, even though he had learned the skills of a forensic doctor. Hearing its host's sigh, the system trembled. Right now, he was incomparably glad that his host had died at that time. Otherwise, every day when he opened his eyes, he would see miserable corpses being torn apart by his host's small knife. A banquet? Tang Guo looked up curiously. What banquet is it? Lin Dongshu's birthday party. Tang Liqing, who was reading the newspaper, answered his little princess, if Guogua doesn't like it, she doesn't have to go. Although Tang Guo was specifically invited on the invitation card, Lin Mingya was not an exception. However, Guo Guo was his little princess. Of course, she could go if she wanted to, and she could not go if she did not want to. That's right. Your father is right. The banquet is noisy and noisy. Those people are annoying. I agree that Guo Guo shouldn't go. Dong Mei said quickly. She never asked her Guo Guo to make friends with people in that circle. It wasn't that she felt that her daughter couldn't handle it, but she felt sorry for her daughter. Her Guo Guo was so smart. As long as she wanted to do something, what couldn't she do? They were just worried about the small probability of it happening. Dad, Mom, how can I go this time? Tang Liqing and Dong Mei raised their heads at the same time and looked at each other. The atmosphere instantly changed. Actually, the banquet is quite fun. If Guo Guo wants to go, then go. Tang Guo, no wonder Tang Guo liked Tang Jing so much. When she found out that her parents were in trouble, even if it meant risking her life, she still wanted to kill Lin Yiqi. This was because Tang Liqing and his wife really loved her. Chapter 122. Is there a plot after Tang Zhang's death? The system looked at Tang Guo's computer and silently knelt down in front of the original body. If Tang Guo hadn't found these things from the computer, it would have thought that Tang Guo was just a little princess doted on by the Tang couple. No one would have known that this little princess was actually the big boss behind the Tang Corporation. That's right, the Tang Corporation's rapid development over the years and every big decision was inseparable from the original body. On the surface, she was a person that was held in the palm of their hands. Behind the scenes, the Tang couple had to discuss with their baby if there was anything they couldn't handle. It was also because of this that Dong Mei sighed, felt regret, and felt heartache more than once. Her daughter was simply too outstanding. If it weren't for special reasons, they would have handed the Tang Corporation over to her a long time ago. After the system saw the original body, it also sighed. What an outstanding young lady. If it weren't for the fact that the main character's halo was too strong, she would have been a suitable candidate for the female lead. Luckily, the one who transmigrated into her body was its host. Otherwise, the Tang couple would have long realized that the original body was gone. Moreover, its host was a drama queen. Apart from being a little crazy and doing things a little extreme, she was much better than the original body. So, it was easy for her to deal with the Tang Corporation behind the scenes. System, are you still distracted by the string of data? The system came back to its senses and hurriedly searched for the plot after Tang Zhang's death. In reality, if it wasn't what Tang Guo wanted, it wouldn't have taken the initiative to look. The plot that Tang Guo wanted was something that it could easily find out. Otherwise, it would be blurry. It was also a little confused. Was its host the real supporting female lead or the hidden female lead? Otherwise, why would the halos of the male and female leads be so dim when they met its host, to the point of being extinguished in the end? It had a feeling that in these small worlds, as long as its host wanted to, there was nothing she couldn't do. The only thing it couldn't control was its host's lifespan, right? At most, it could be increased by 10 years. Are you aging? Tang Guo's voice sounded again. Could it be that you are an ancient system, the kind that was eliminated? When you were about to be destroyed, you escaped in a daze and accidentally bound me. Then, when I didn't know where to go, you tempted me to take on the role of a tragic supporting female lead. Otherwise, no one will care if I destroy the world. The more Tang Guo guessed, the more she felt that it was possible. I thought about it. It's really possible. Or rather, you're a defective system, the kind that was casually thrown away. Otherwise, it's really strange that you don't even have a serial number. System, Mom, I want to go home. Give me the plot. The system, with hidden bitterness, transmitted the plot of Tang Zhang's death and accompanied Tang Guo to browse through it. Faintly, he had some doubts. Perhaps, he really was a defective product. He felt terrible. After reading the plot, he started to doubt his life. Tang Guo also sighed, I like this little girl. It turned out that after Tang Zhang's death, the Lin family, who had victory in their grasp, was suddenly defeated by a new power. This force had also collected evidence of Mrs. Lin, Lin Yiqi, and Gu Qingqing's crimes. The Lin family was ruined, and the mental hospital was exposed. Even the members of that disgusting organization were all exposed. In the end, they were all arrested and convicted. Lin Yiqi and Gu Qingqing were sentenced to 10 years in prison. When they were released, they were left with nothing. The two's love turned into hatred, and in a scuffle, they died together. All of this was the original body's handiwork. Admirable. System, I'm kneeling. Chapter 123. She's the little princess of the Tang Corporation, right? So beautiful. I don't know what an angel looks like, but after seeing her, I feel that an angel looks like her. Amidst the sighs of countless people, Tang Guo followed the family Tang couple into the banquet. She had a pure smile on her face and a pair of clear eyes, making it impossible for anyone to blaspheme her. The system didn't understand how its host could be so pure that even it couldn't see any flaws. She was too transparent. Even if it knew her true face, seeing her like this, it still couldn't help but believe that this was her, this was the real her. System, fuck, she really is a drama queen. Dad, Mom, you don't need to worry about me. Seeing the couple's hesitation, Tang Guo smiled, you guys go do what you need to do. The two thought of the bodyguards they hired to play the role of successful people and were no longer worried. For the little princess's safety, they spent a lot of effort to prepare for this banquet. Not to mention them, even Tang Jing had trained several bodyguards because of this, just to prevent any problems. Tang Guo picked a seat and sat down. Her original body basically didn't attend banquets. Especially this kind of grand banquet, the people who came were the upper echelons of the circle. Many people's eyes turned to look at her, not knowing what they were thinking. The young men looked at her with fiery eyes. They had long wanted to meet the little princess of the family Tang. This girl who looked like an angel made their hearts beat. Plus, with her background, no one present would reject her. Of course, there was one exception. Lin Yiqi noticed Tang Guo when she came in, especially when he saw the pure smile on her face. His eyes flashed with a cold smile. This pretentious woman. If he didn't know how vicious this woman was, he really would have been deceived by her. I heard that the Lin family and family Tang are preparing for a marriage alliance. A young man sitting beside Lin Yiqi said. He had a good relationship with Lin Yiqi. Yiqi, you're lucky. The little princess of the family Tang is really beautiful. Plus, with the previous incident, almost everyone knew about the little princess of the family Tang. Who would have thought that such a delicate little girl dared to fight with a pervert and even won? Don't be deceived by appearance. Lin Yiqi sneered, some women are just beautiful on the outside. The surrounding people looked at each other. Lin Yiqi didn't like the little princess of the family Tang. Are you talking about me? What a sweet voice. Lin Yiqi's friends all had the same thought in their minds as they looked up to see the girl with a bright smile. Such a beautiful girl, like a Barbie doll, it made people want to hide her. They didn't understand why Lin Yiqi hated Tang Guo. Of course, they soon understood. Are you saying I'm beautiful on the outside? Lin Yiqi's eyes, Lin's. He would settle the score with the Tang family sooner or later. No wonder he didn't have a girlfriend even at the age of 28. Lin Yiqi's friends, I'm so cute, so beautiful, and you're saying I'm beautiful on the outside? Are you saying I'm evil on the inside? Tangwa tilted her head. Don't you know how many innocent girls I've saved? Why do you ignore such a beautiful character? Could it be? The surrounding people held their breaths. They wanted to know the answer. Chapter 124. You're jealous of me. The little princess of family Tang widened her eyes in disbelief. You're jealous of me. Suddenly, the way the people looked at Lin Ichi changed. Lin Ichi only felt his face burning, especially when the people around him thought that Tang Guo was right. It made him angry. This woman was really annoying. Just when Lin Ichi wanted to say something, Tang Guo spoke again. Although this result makes me sad, as a person with good morals, I'll forgive you generously. The little princess of family Tang raised her wine glass, took a sip of red wine, and turned to leave. Lin Ichi gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. The people around him also realized what happened and looked at Lin Ichi with some ridicule. What was the news that spread before? The little princess of family Tang liked Lin Ichi. No, the rumors were even more unreliable. They said that she was deeply in love with Lin Ichi, and the outside world guessed that the two families were going to have a marriage alliance. Because of this, many people even cooperated with Lin Ichi a few times. With the reputation of the little princess of family Tang, Lin's group could be considered to have solved the previous financial problem. The crisis of Lin's group was basically solved, and everyone was still praising Lin Ichi for being able to bring Lin's group back to life. Although she was using the reputation of the little princess of family Tang, wasn't it normal for her to have a marriage agreement? But what was the attitude of the little princess today? Did she look like she was deeply in love with Lin Ichi? The few friends around Lin Ichi also looked at him strangely. Before, when they joked that the two families would have a marriage alliance, Lin Ichi didn't refute it even once. Instead, he would say some specious words, making them think that the two families were related. Ichi, are you really engaged to the little princess of family Tang? Those who weren't close to Lin Ichi couldn't help but ask, I heard from my mom that you have a good relationship with the little princess of family Tang, and she likes you a lot, but, what did she look like today? She was clearly a passerby. Lin Ichi was furious, and he hated Tang Guo more and more. However, she had to admit that it would be a joke if the Lin family did not have a marriage alliance with the family Tang. Ever since he was humiliated by Tang Guo, he wanted to take control of the Lin group as soon as possible and take the opportunity to annex the Tang group. He would make her regret this. He would repay today's humiliation 100-fold. He wanted to personally pull her down from her pedestal. Sure enough, there is one thing in common. The male leads are especially vengeful. Even if someone glares at him, he will think of ways to destroy the other party's family. A pure smile hung on the corner of Tang Guo's mouth. The words that came out of her mouth were obviously asking for a beating, but they were very beautiful. Tong, look at him. Does he hate me to death? Host, I'm already used to it. After all, there are too many people who hate you. This Lin Ichi is still trash. What he meant was that this kind of person was nothing more than cannon fodder in the hands of his host. Host, he's coming over. Please restrain yourself. Your persona is about to collapse. Host, don't you know that you look like a little fairy when you drink red wine? After the system's reminder, the originally peerless beauty stopped swirling the wine glass with one hand. Her seductive licking became shallow, and she took small sips. It was really elegant and cute. Xiaoguo, are you angry at me? Lin Ichi bent down and whispered softly in Tang Guo's ear, I thought about it. We were so close before, but that day at the hospital, your attitude suddenly changed. Are you angry that I didn't come to accompany you recently? Even when you were in danger, I wasn't by your side. Chapter 125. Lin-Ichi thought about it and still didn't think that Tangwa didn't like him. I've been too busy recently and didn't pay attention to your preferences. Lin-Ichi's eyes became affectionate. I'm not good enough and made you sad. Can you give me a chance today? Today, he had a falling out with Tangwa. Not to mention how the Lin group would be affected, the outside world would be affected because of Tangwa's attitude. He had lost his reputation in the circle. What if it was all because the family Tang's little princess was just angry with him? That was just a little woman throwing a tantrum because her boyfriend was too busy to accompany her. Of course, the result would be different. Instead, everyone would think that Tangwa cared about him. He didn't believe that she wouldn't be touched if he bowed like this. Little girls liked their boyfriend's accommodation and romance the most. He remembered that he had been slacking in this area recently. The other party was the little princess of the Tang group after all. It was normal for her to be a little arrogant. Of course, putting down his status to coax her didn't mean that he liked her. Lin-Ichi's eyes flashed with mockery. He remembered today's humiliation. He would make her fall deeply in love with him. In the end, he would make her understand that the only person he loved was Gu Qingqing. Could the family Tang's little princess bear such revenge? Even if she was throwing a tantrum, she shouldn't embarrass him in front of so many people. How could a spoiled woman be qualified to be the person who accompanied him for the rest of his life? Although Qingqing came from a small family, she was obedient and sensible. She listened to him in everything. They were so harmonious even in bed. No matter where it was, Qingqing would not hesitate to accommodate him. This was his ideal woman. Give you a chance. Everyone was also paying attention to the situation here. They were looking forward to the next scene. Why did they feel that the family Tang's little princess's delicate face was faintly excited? They must be seeing things, right? It should be. Yes, Xiaoguo. Give me a chance. Let me make it up to you. It had to be said that when a man was deeply in love, it was easy to be touched, especially a handsome man who couldn't be picky. Many of the young ladies around were so touched that they wiped their tears. Tangguo was puzzled. Did Lin-Ichi take a knife for her, or did he cut out his kidney for her? Why was she crying just because of a few words of love? Tangguo lowered her eyes and thought about it seriously. How can I give you a chance? Could it be that the little princess of the family really had feelings for Lin-Ichi? Was she throwing a tantrum just now? Lin-Ichi was pleased, the girl was easy to please, after all. This time, he would definitely make Tangguo fall deeply in love with him, the kind that could not be without him. Let me make it up to you. As a boyfriend to his girlfriend. The people around him took a deep breath and looked at each other. Tangguo blinked, not saying anything. Lin-Ichi wasn't in a rush at all, he was sure that he'd succeed. In such a situation, no woman would refuse. When the surrounding people saw this, they also felt that this was the case. This was Lin Dongshu's birthday party, after all. So Lin-Ichi and the other youngsters only needed to interact with each other. Lin Dongshu's generation was on the other side. Everyone was young, and in such a situation, they were all looking forward to Tangguo's answer. She seems to be looking at you. Tangguo held the script and looked at a girl in the distance. She said uncertainly, she's crying. Lin-Ichi had a bad feeling in his heart. He turned his head with a stiff expression. Chapter 126. Ichi. Gu Qingqing was on the verge of breaking down. She had been here for 5 minutes and naturally, she heard the conversation. She was wearing a small dress. It wasn't expensive in the eyes of these people, but it was the most beautiful and cost-effective thing she could afford. She just wanted to see the person she liked. She didn't plan to do anything. She was Lin-Ichi's personal assistant. In fact, she hadn't even graduated from university. She was working during the holidays. Lin Ichi gave her a good salary and she didn't do much. Of course, she didn't have the right to attend such a high-class banquet. Lin Ichi also said that he wouldn't bring her home for the time being because he hadn't taken control of Lin Group yet. It would be dangerous if he brought her home. He also said that he would bring her home openly one day. But, what was this scene in front of her? She heard him confess to another girl with her own ears. She knew this girl. They were even from the same school. In the past, she only stood far away and looked at Tangguo surrounded by bodyguards. She was so noble, proud, and beautiful. In front of Tangguo, she was like an ugly duckling. She didn't even dare to raise her head. She was afraid that Tangguo would see through her embarrassment and inferiority. I understand. I understand. Because of her inferiority, she didn't even dare to criticize her. She didn't have the courage to confront Tangguo. She just asked herself again and again in her heart. Family Tang's little princess had so much. Why was she fighting with her for Ichi? She could find any kind of boyfriend. Why did she have to choose Ichi? But she couldn't defend her. She really couldn't. She was afraid that she would do something wrong and get revenge. These high and mighty people wouldn't understand their helplessness. Every meal they ate could cost a month of her father's medical fees. Yes, she still had to earn money to buy medicine for her father. She couldn't defend these rich girls. Even if these young ladies had done something wrong, so what? These rich people wouldn't understand the suffering of commoners. I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. Gu Qingqing's tears streamed down her face. She hurriedly wiped them away, lifted her skirt, and ran away. She didn't ask Lin Ichi. Even though he betrayed her, she didn't dare to ask. She was just an ugly duckling. Wasn't it normal for him to choose the little princess of Tang Group? What a joke. Tangguo, so, I didn't do anything, but the female lead hates me again. Tangguo said, I only asked someone to tell her that her boyfriend is here. So she went the wrong way. Her sweet voice pulled back everyone's thoughts, and they all stared at Tangguo. The little princess's way of thinking was a little different from everyone else's, after all. Everyone turned to look at Lin Ichi in unison, their gazes strange. Do you want to continue the topic just now? Tangguo kindly reminded him. Lin Ichi snapped back to reality and threw everything else aside. He looked at Tangguo coldly, as if she'd done something unforgivable. Then, under everyone's gaze, he ran out like the wind. The onlookers, what a big melon, fragrant and sweet. Tangguo, what about the compensation? Xiaoguo, what's wrong? Tang Zheng nervously walked over with a face full of concern and a gentle voice, causing everyone present to be shocked. Didn't he always have a dark expression when discussing contracts? They swore that they'd never seen the family young master so gentle. Chapter 127. Big bro, Lin Ichi said a bunch of weird stuff, and even said that he'd compensate me. Then a pretty girl came in and cried for a while, and then he ran out after her. Tangguo said slowly, as if she'd realized something. Tang Zhang's eyes darkened as he hated Lin Ichi to death. He used his sister's reputation to get a contract and then ran out with a woman he didn't know. He was truly shameless. Thinking back to how he wanted to push Xiaoguo to the other party's side, his heart was filled with regret. Luckily, he saw through all of this. Xiaoguo, don't mind him. There's something wrong with his head. Since brother said so, then there must be something wrong with his head. The onlookers, is this the legendary brother's fangirl? Tang Zhang's face rippled with a smile, blinding the onlookers' eyes. Heavens, the family's young master Tang actually smiled so brightly in front of everyone. If the other party also smiled like this when signing the contract. Just think about it. In reality, if it wasn't a cold and dark face, then it would be a cold light under the lens. If it was a cold smile, then it would be a smile of victory or a smile of scheming. Heavens, just thinking about it was terrifying. Young Master Tang, I heard that the little princess and Lin Yiqi have an engagement. Is this true or false? A courageous person couldn't help but ask. This melon clearly wasn't finished yet. So exciting, how to break it? Tang Zheng rubbed his little sister's head as the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a dangerous smile as he softly said, "Who did you hear it from?" Even though it was a light voice, everyone heard it clearly. The person who asked the question trembled as he felt some regret. "You want to marry my little princess?" Everyone hurriedly shook their heads as they didn't dare. "First, if you are better than me, then you can consider it." Everyone looked at Tang Zheng. He was handsome, had long legs, had a good figure, had a good family background, and had a high IQ. They hurriedly took a step back. This condition was still the first. "Young Master Tang, are you the devil? How much do you want your sister to be unable to marry? Secondly, you must satisfy me and my parents. Onlookers, I give up. The most important thing is that you must satisfy Xiao Guo. Onlookers, isn't this a bit too strict?" It was clearly the most difficult of the three. Duan Lihong and her husband also found out about what had happened here. After understanding the situation, Lin Dongshu and Duan Lihong's hearts skipped a beat. They subconsciously looked at Tang Liqing and Dong Mei's faces. Sure enough, their expressions were not good. Duan Lihong was very nervous. She quickly walked to Dong Mei's side with a smile. "Ah, Mei, there must be some misunderstanding between the children." Dong Mei sneered in her heart. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? At his father's birthday party, his son unabashedly chased after a crying woman. What kind of misunderstanding could it be? Her Guoguo was still the smart one. She knew that the Lin family was nothing. These two people had a good idea. They wanted to bully her baby and use her baby's reputation to get contracts for her son. They hadn't even started, and they were already using it. Dong Mei also smiled politely, and Duan Lihong heaved a sigh of relief. It's just child's play. Dong Mei acted as if she didn't care. Young couples get over it quickly. At first, Duan Lihong thought that Dong Mei was talking about Lin Yiqi and Gu Qingqing, but she soon realized that something was wrong. "I haven't congratulated you yet. Your Yiqi actually got a girlfriend. Why didn't he bring her to the party?" Dong Mei's face was full of shock. Could it be that the girl's family background isn't good? But I believe that Lihong isn't someone who cares about family background. Duan Lihong, what else can I say other than MMP? Chapter 128. After Lin Dongshu's birthday party, everyone knew that Lin Yiqi had a girlfriend. The girl didn't have a good family background and was bullied. She ran out of the party crying. Lin Yiqi liked this Cinderella very much and chased after her without caring about anything else. As for what the two main characters were doing, Tang Guo's tablet showed everything. That night, Gu Qingqing suffered a huge blow and ran out crying. Lin Yiqi quickly caught up with her. No matter how he explained, she would not listen to him, not listen to him, not listen to him. Lin Yiqi couldn't take it anymore. He pulled her into the car and had a hearty discussion about life. Gu Qingqing endured it while saying, "I don't want to listen. I won't forgive you even if you take me by force." Lin Yiqi listened to these words and discussed life with Gu Qingqing for the whole night. In the end, Gu Qingqing was so tired that she fell asleep. Lin Yiqi saw the marks all over her body and his heart ached. Before he took Gu Qingqing to the private room, he said in the car, "Tangguo, just you wait. Tangguo, Qingqing, don't worry. In my heart, you're the only woman. She's just an ornament." Tangguo, she stared blankly at the tablet and finally said, "What the fuck? What did it have to do with her?" After the female lead didn't want to listen, the male lead hated her. "Don't you think that Lin Yiqi's IQ is lower than before? System, he wasn't particularly smart to begin with. His protagonist aura is getting weaker and weaker because of you. How can his IQ not drop? Why does he think that I'm willing to be an ornament for him and let him deal with the family Tang?" The system held it in for a long time and finally said, "Maybe he's the protagonist." The family Tang was already in an uproar. After the party, Lin Dongshu and Duan Lihong immediately asked Lin Yiqi to go home. But at that time, Lin Yiqi was doing something important and didn't hear the phone call. He only rushed home the next day when he remembered. Under Duan Lihong and Lin Yiqi's scolding, he endured it. He also expressed that he would leave his marriage to them. The current situation was not in his favor. He had no choice but to borrow the power of the Tang family. As for that woman named Tangguo, he did not want to let her go so easily. He would marry her and slowly torture her as revenge for Qingqing. Once the grudge was settled and both the Tang and Lin families were in his hands, he would give Qingqing the wedding of the century. Tangguo didn't know any of this. Later, she found out that Lin Yiqi and Gu Qingqing were together, safe and sound. However, Gu Qingqing was looking at her with hatred and disdain. The question was, what did Lin Yiqi say to Gu Qingqing? "Tangguo, what did I do wrong again?" When the Lin family came, Tangguo was speechless. It was all a misunderstanding. Duan Lihong smiled and said, "That girl used to be in a relationship with Yiqi. You know that girls like to cling to the rich and powerful. I didn't know Yiqi's identity and broke up with him." Later, when she heard that Yiqi was the young master of the Lin family, her attitude changed and she wanted to cause trouble at the party. Tangguo noticed that Lin Yiqi also showed a look of disgust towards Duan Lihong, although it was only a fleeting look. "Xiaoguo, I really like this child. Since the misunderstanding has been cleared, why don't we let the young people deal with each other first?" The family Tang people's expressions were also speechless. They were all cursing in their hearts. Where did this shameless person come from? Chapter 129. Lin Yiqi also revealed an affectionate expression, "Xiaoguo, I hope you can give me a chance." Tangguo saw hatred and disgust in his eyes. She propped up her chin innocently as she thought to herself, this Lin Yiqi really is a typical scumbag. How could he say mushy words of love to Gu Qingqing and then come here to ask for her hand in marriage? System, I want to vomit. Host, if you want to vomit, you must first find a man. Before Tangguo could reply, Tang Jing returned. He swept his eyes over the Lin family and a cold smile appeared on his face as he walked over to Tangguo's side. He sat down beside her and habitually patted her head. His originally cold expression also softened. But when he saw Lin Yiqi, he gave a cold smile. "Boss Lin, do you like Xiaoguo?" He pressed down on Tangguo's shoulder, indicating that he would handle the rest. "Of course." Lin Yiqi revealed a proud smile, "I have always liked Xiaoguo." Tang Zhang's expression became more and more unsightly. Even though he was smiling, his smile contained a sense of danger. Lin Yiqi felt uneasy, but he didn't care too much. The family Tang doted on Tangguo so in his eyes, as long as Tangguo was satisfied with him, no one would be able to refute. According to the real situation, Lin Yiqi's guess was correct. The only thing he didn't guess was that Tangguo didn't like him and that Tang Jing, who was supposed to be a godly assistant, also hated him. Tang Zheng laughed and took out a CD from his pocket. "Oh, is that so? I have something good here. Since you said you like Xiaogua, then help me identify it." Tang Zheng didn't give anyone a chance to refute and began playing the contents of the CD. During this time, Dong Mei and her husband didn't make a sound as they trusted this adopted son of theirs. Tang Zheng put the CD away and returned to his seat as he asked in a small voice, "Brother, what is it? Even though I don't want Xiaogua to see such dirty things, this time is an exception." Tang Zheng's face was gentle as he placed his hand on the young girl's shoulder and said in a gentle voice, "Leave everything to Big Brother. From now on, Big Brother will protect you." When he said this, Tang Zheng's heart was abnormally satisfied. Yes, as if he was supposed to protect her. Seeing the happy smile in her eyes, he felt that this was a good decision. He pinched the girl's cute cheeks, and the contents of the disc appeared. The lighting wasn't good, but the general picture was still clear. Especially the ambiguous breathing of a man and a woman. Even the final gasp could be heard clearly. Lin Yiqi's face changed, and Duan Lihong stood up in shock. Lin Dongshu stared at the screen with a pale face. The scene of a man and a woman intertwining with each other was extremely filthy. "Turn it off." The one who spoke was Lin Yiqi. His face was extremely ugly. Qingqing's beauty was only for him to see. But soon, he realized that what he should think about now was how to explain to the Lin family. Tang Zheng leisurely leaned back on the sofa, his palm already covering Tanggua's eyes. Just looking at the beginning was enough. He believed that Xiaogua would understand the following content. He gently whispered into the girl's ear, "Do you understand now?" Not knowing why, Tanggua felt that Tang Zheng's goal in letting her watch was a bit sinister, as if he wanted to destroy Lin Yiqi's image in front of her. She could hear the damned joy in his voice. Hearing the girl's response, Tang Zheng became even happier. "I'll send you back to your room." Chapter 130. The Lin family members left in a sorry state. The video that Tang Zheng took out destroyed all of their plans. Unlike the Lin family's ashen face and the disappointment in their eyes, Lin Yiqi's face was filled with hatred. He could no longer hide the anger in his eyes. The family Tang couple were calm since they didn't have any interest in Lin Yiqi from the start. They only felt that this family was a joke, especially since Duan Lihong kept praising her son for being so outstanding. It was as if their family Xiaogua didn't marry Lin Yiqi and it was a loss. Tanggua leaned against the window and looked at the three people below with a smile. Lin Yiqi seemed to have felt it as he coldly looked at her. Even if he didn't say anything, Tanggua could feel the other party's meaning. It was nothing more than, "Tanggua, family Tang, Tang Zheng, I'll remember you." In reality, she didn't do anything. She just didn't want to cooperate with the male and female leads and didn't want to participate in their lives. After losing the main character's aura, they were just digging their own graves. A pure smile appeared on her face as her small hand pressed against her heart. "System, even though I'm a supporting female lead, I don't need to die so quickly every time, right? I want to help, but I can't. This is a random transmigration. Host, could it be that you want to live a long life and live a normal life?" The system was shocked. After the Lin family incident, the family Tang family held a family meeting. The topic of the meeting was Tanggua's marriage. The two thought about it but couldn't find a suitable candidate and were extremely worried. They didn't notice that their son's eyes were lowered and his face was gloomy. "Dad, Mom, it's best if you don't think about this." Tanggua's voice pulled the two's attention back. "If my family's background is bad, you're afraid that they will have bad intentions. If my family's background is good, then I won't be free and will have to attend all kinds of family banquets. I don't like that." The two couples felt that her words made sense, and it was because of this that they were worried. They wanted their daughter to live a long life and couldn't stand her being wronged. Anyways, I don't have anyone that I like, so why don't we just leave it at that? After saying this, she noticed that Tang Zhang's expression was becoming worse and worse. She smiled. Even if I don't marry for the rest of my life, won't my brother take care of me? Right, big brother? She hugged Tang Zhang's arm and blinked. You will always take care of me and protect me. Tang Zhang's expression relaxed as he smiled gently. Xiaogua is right, big brother will take care of you for the rest of your life. When the two couples saw this, they looked at each other in dismay. Since when were the two of them so intimate? Tang Guo winked at them and leaned her head against Tang Zhang's arm, causing the two men to burst out in laughter. That's true. The worry on Dong Mei's face dissipated. With your brother here, what are we worried about? Right, Li Qing? Ah, right. With little Zheng here, what are we worried about? Ha! Tang Liqing reacted. Little Zheng, from now on Xiaoguo will be in your care. He hugged his wife. Your mother can finally go out and walk around. When she was young, she was too busy with work and never had the chance to fulfill her wish. Now that the company is in your hands, it's time to fulfill your mother's wish. Dad, Mom, you can rest assured that I will take good care of Xiaoguo. Tang Zheng seemed to have understood something. I won't let anyone bully her, and I won't allow that person to appear. In an instant, the whole family was filled with joy. Chapter 131. Tang Liqing and Madame Tang left in peace. Rumors about Lin Yiqi began to spread among the upper class as well. At first, Lin Yiqi tried to keep a low profile, but later, he brought Gu Qingqing out in the open and announced that she was his girlfriend. Madame Duanlihong was furious. She didn't give Gu Qingqing any face in public or in private. She even talked to Gu Qingqing privately and asked her to leave Lin Yiqi. Gu Qingqing didn't agree. She rejected Duanlihong's check and told Lin Yiqi about it. Lin Yiqi returned to the Lin family and argued with Duanlihong. Duanlihong was so angry that she fainted. Lin Yiqi felt that Duanlihong was being unreasonable. She stopped him from being with his true love. She was no longer the mother who cared about him. Gu Qingqing felt that Duanlihong was corrupted by money. She wasn't with Lin Yiqi for money. She wouldn't leave Lin Yiqi for money. She liked him as a person. She believed that as long as they were persistent, they would never be separated. She also felt that the family Tang was too much. They were suppressing the Lin family just because Yiqi didn't want to marry the family Tang's daughter. These rich people did whatever they wanted because they had money. She saw Lin Yiqi working until dawn every day, worrying about the company. She heard from Yiqi that if the Lin family couldn't be stabilized, the shareholders would probably want to change the CEO. For example, Lin Yiqi's illegitimate brother. Gu Qingqing was very anxious. She felt that the Lin family's current situation was caused by the family Tang. If the family Tang could give up on suppressing the Lin family, then the Lin family wouldn't be in such a difficult situation. So, she secretly made a decision. Gu Qingqing waited nervously in the private room. When the door was pushed open, she stood up. The girl in front of her had a pure smile on her face. Whether it was her clothes, appearance, or family background, they all made her feel inferior. However, she held the new sweet-smelling grandma's baby that Lin Yiqi gave her. She was also wearing a sweet-smelling grandma's dress, so she felt a little more confident. Miss Tang. Gu Qingqing showed a smile that she thought was appropriate. Please sit. Oh. Tang Gua sat down and ordered a drink. She supported her chin with one hand and slowly sipped on it. Gu Qingqing thought that he would ask about her purpose as soon as he arrived. She didn't want to just drink here. She couldn't hold it in anymore and stared at Tanggwa seriously. Miss Tang, I hope that you won't suppress the Lin Corporation just because Yi Chi is unwilling to marry you. Nothing forcibly done is sweet. Yi Chi doesn't like you. That's the truth. Gu Qingqing felt that her reasons were sufficient. So, there's no need to cause other losses because of this. The Tang family is a big business, but it's also very good at leisure. Isn't there a saying that goes, every dog has its day? No one can guarantee that the family will continue to be glorious. Tanggwa stopped drinking, released the straw that she was biting, and looked at Gu Qingqing in surprise. Gu Qingqing felt that Tanggwa had listened to her words. She smiled faintly and said, Miss Tang, why don't we make peace? With your family background, you can find anyone you want. After we reconcile, the Lin family and family Tang can still work together. Are you sick in the head? Gu Qingqing didn't expect Tanggwa to say something like that. She suddenly felt ashamed and angry. Miss Tang, even if your family background is good, you don't have to scold me, do you? I'm just giving you advice. I hope that you won't go overboard. Chapter 132. Miss Gu, you think too highly of yourself. Tanggwa faintly smiled. Firstly, I don't care about the Tang Corps. Secondly, I don't like Lin Yiqi and have never thought of marrying him. To be honest, I don't like him. Yiqi is so outstanding. If it wasn't for his unwillingness, your two families would already be marrying. Gu Qingqing still felt that Tanggwa was taking revenge on Lin Yiqi. Tanggwa sneered, do you think that as the miss of the family Tang, I would be interested in a man who would fuck with a woman for an entire night? Hearing this, Gu Qingqing's face turned red as she angrily glared at Tanggwa. You're too much. Too much. Tanggwa's smile was as pure as ever, but her eyes were filled with malice like a little devil. Am I not speaking the truth? May I ask, Miss Gu, if you knew that your blind date would have sex with a woman every day in the car, on the wall, in the toilet, and in the corridor, would you still marry this man? Every word that Tanggwa said caused Gu Qingqing's face to turn a shade paler. Because she and Lin Yiqi had done these things before, and even more shameful things. There were traces of them being together in every corner of the small house that belonged to them. It was fine if only two people knew about it, but when another person pointed it out, she could only feel anger. Tanggwa ignored Gu Qingqing and gave Tangjing a call. Her voice was sweet. Brother, are you busy? Xiaogua, are you bored? Nope, I just want to ask you something. Tanggwa turned on the loudspeaker. Miss Gu said that our Tang Corps has been suppressing the Lin Corps and asked me not to take revenge on them. So I want to ask if brother has been suppressing the Tang Corps. The Tang Corps has not been suppressing the Lin Corps. They have only cancelled the cooperation between the two families. Tang Zheng's voice was cold, so cold that the entire room felt as if it was winter. At least, that was how Gu Qingqing felt. Miss Gu, I hope that you will not disturb Xiaogua. Otherwise, I really don't mind using the Tang Corps to suppress the Lin Corps. Gu Qingqing's heart stopped beating. Even though Tang Zheng wasn't here, she still felt a sense of panic. Then, big brother, I'm hanging up. Tang Zheng helplessly smiled as he immediately located Tanggwa's position and contacted Tanggwa's bodyguard. After confirming that Tanggwa was not in danger, he let out a sigh of relief. Did you hear that, Miss Gu? Actually, you should ask in detail why the Lin group is in danger. Tanggwa took a sip of her drink. And why do they want to marry the Tang family when the Lin family is already in danger? One more thing, I really don't like a man like you who likes to do all kinds of sex. Gu Qingqing's face turned even paler. She wanted to say something but couldn't. Actually, Miss Gu, you and Lin Yiqi are in so much trouble right now. If he wasn't the young master of House Lin and was just a normal person, no one would be able to stop you two from living happily together. After all, you aren't with him because of money, right? Tang Guo looked at Gu Qingqing from head to toe before leaving with a smile. Gu Qingqing tightly held onto her bag as she pursed her lips. What if Ichi wasn't the young master of House Lin? How could that be? Ichi was originally the young master of House Lin. How could she let Ichi give up his identity just because of love? She wouldn't be so selfish. Host, does it feel good? Yes. Host, will Gu Qingqing persuade Lin Ichi to leave House Lin? Why am I still so stupid? System, I am the stupidest person in the world. Chapter 133. Not long after Tang Guo left, Lin Ichi came to find her. His heart ached when he saw the disappointed Gu Qingqing in the room. Did that woman bully you? Gu Qingqing felt the man's warmth and held back her grievance. Ichi, I realize that I can't help you with anything. Miss Tang is too much. How could she say that about us? Our love is pure. I don't like you for money. Lin Ichi's face turned cold. Of course I know. It's just that that woman doesn't want to accept it. Qingqing, don't worry. I won't leave you. Ichi. The man couldn't stand the woman's voice and kissed her lips. His hands couldn't help but caress her body. In an instant, both of them were aroused. Tang Guo was sitting in the car, listening to the voice on the phone with great interest. I knew it. If I put a listening device there, something interesting will happen. The bodyguard in the front passenger seat and the driver's ears turned red as they listened to the sounds coming from the phone. The two of them can really get into heat at any time, anywhere. Tang Guo laughed. She was afraid that the bodyguard and the driver wouldn't be able to control themselves and would get into an accident. She quickly plugged in the earphones. The ambiguous voice disappeared and the car quieted down. The bodyguard and the driver were relieved. The little princess's bad taste was getting more and more, but the young master still thought that the little princess was a very pure girl. Every time they heard the young master say that he wanted to protect the little princess and that she was innocent and would be hurt, they would break out in cold sweat. The driver and the bodyguard looked at each other. The little princess was the big boss behind all this, right? Their random guesses were not wrong. According to the original development, the original body was the big boss. Tang Guo listened for a while and felt that it was boring. She made a phone call. Mrs. Lin, do you want it? Miss Tang, please tell me what you want. Kick Lin Ichi out of the Lin family and make him lose everything. Before that, you have to give him and Gu Qingqing a grand wedding. No problem. I'll do it. Tang Guo laughed out loud. How could she let go of those two people who were in heat at any time? They always came to find trouble with her. Didn't Gu Qingqing say that true love could not be measured by money? Then, she would give the two of them a chance to live an ordinary life. She wondered what it would be like if she gave up her identity as the young madam of the Lin family and let her wear ordinary dresses and bags that cost a few hundred yuan again and calculate her daily expenses. Hopefully, she would be able to hold on. Tang Guo smiled happily. Bodyguard and driver, they would rather listen to the flirtatious sounds from before. The little princess was so scary when she smiled. Sir, this doesn't count as tearing apart the couple, right? Speaking of which, I was the one who brought them together, allowing them to be together smoothly. It didn't take long for House Lin to agree to Gu Qingqing and Lin Ichi's wedding. Later, they found out that Gu Qingqing was pregnant. Lin Ichi was overjoyed. He had prepared a wedding of the century for Gu Qingqing. On the day of the wedding, the family Tang was also invited. Tang Guo sat among the crowd and watched the two of them take their vows. Gu Qingqing seemed to have seen her and gave her a victorious look, which made her laugh. "What are you laughing at?" Tang Zheng noticed. Tang Guo blinked and hugged Tang Zheng's arm. She said intimately, "I'm happy." Chapter 134. Tang Zheng caressed the young girl's cheeks as he moved closer to her ear and softly said, "Xiao Guo, do you also want to get married?" He was a bit nervous as he was not willing to let Xiao Guo marry someone else. "Brother, do you want me to get married?" "Brother, could it be that you have someone else in mind that you want to marry Xiao Guo off?" Seeing the young girl's wronged eyes, Tang Zheng's heart softened as he hurriedly denied it. How could he marry her off to someone else? No one was worthy of his Xiao Guo. Of course not. Then that's good. Tang Guo simply leaned her head on Tang Zheng's arm. "If brother wants to marry me off, Xiao Guo will not forgive you. You better not disappoint me." Tang Zheng caressed the young girl's cheeks, his eyes serious as he could no longer suppress the emotions in his heart. "What if that person is mine?" he softly asked, his voice so low that it was almost inaudible. Hearing these words, Tang Guo smiled, lowered her head, and lowered her eyes. Her expression made Tang Zheng extremely nervous. He finally said these words that he thought he would never say in his life. Thinking back to the things he did in the past, he felt that it was laughable. He finally fell into her hands, and he was willing to do so. "Xiao Guo, brother, if it was before, I would really want to hear these words and might even agree." Tang Guo raised her head and smiled brightly. Tang Zheng hurriedly asked, "What about now?" "Now?" The young girl's eyes flashed with a wicked smile, her naughty thoughts showing on her face. She still did not let go of Tang Zheng and only blinked her eyes, "Because I am angry. My anger has not subsided, so how could I marry brother?" Xiao Guo. Tang Zheng knew that the young girl liked him. He also knew that the things he did in the past were too despicable and had already hurt her. Her answer, in fact, was something he could predict. He was not angry at all. "Xiao Guo, if you are not willing then so be it." He touched the young girl's forehead, his eyes flashing with love as he said in a low voice, "Brother will protect you, no matter what your status is." Tang Guo's eyes moved, then she smiled and said, "Okay." However, Xiao Guo can't like other people. Even though there was a smile in Tang Zheng's eyes, but that smile was extremely dangerous. "Big brother won't hurt Xiao Guo, but I'm not sure about the others." His seemingly gentle tone was filled with danger. Tang Guo did not reply, but Tang Zheng took it to heart. He secretly thought that he would pay close attention to any suspicious men around Xiao Guo in the future. "Brother, look at how happy they are." Tang Guo looked at the two newlyweds exchanging rings. "They will be happy." Those who did not know better thought that the little princess of family Tang was giving her blessings to the two of them. Tang Zheng did not feel that Xiao Guo's eyes were filled with malice. He had long realized that Xiao Guo was not a simple girl at heart. She was a bad child. But so what? Even if she was a demon, he wanted to protect her. He must be crazy, but he was willing to be crazy. Tang Guo returned to the campus, and she was still the little princess of family Tang that everyone sought after. Gu Qingqing also ended her vacation and returned to the campus. Her identity was different. Lin Yiqi's wife was known as the model of marrying into a rich family before graduating. Everyone looked at Gu Qingqing in a different light. Of course, Gu Qingqing did not care. She was finally with Lin Yiqi. Now that she had a driver to pick her up every day, she did not need to look at their eyes. As long as she and Lin Yiqi loved each other, it was fine. Chapter 135. Everyone on campus looked at Gu Qingqing strangely, even her roommates looked at her strangely. Gu Qingqing finally couldn't take it anymore, especially when she found out that Tang Guo was so friendly with her classmates. She even suspected that Tang Guo had told them something to make them look at her strangely. Gu Qingqing saw Tang Guo walk out of the school gates and quickly went up to her to say something. Tang Guo got in the car first and rolled down the window. "Mrs. Lin, I don't want to hear you speak. Also, I didn't push you aside or tell anyone. You should find your own reasons for not interacting with your classmates. Finally, I wish you happiness. Let's go home. Brother must have made something good for me." "Yes, Mississippi." Gu Qingqing bit her lips as she was sprayed with exhaust fumes. "Don't you think she went too far?" Gu Qingqing couldn't help but say to her best friend, "Ichi and I are truly in love. She just likes to say things that make her jealous." Gu Qingqing's friend, "Qingqing, your driver is here, so I'm going home." Gu Qingqing's face was gloomy and her heart was unwilling, but she still got in the car. Gu Qingqing's friend shook her head. Maybe she should have less contact with Gu Qingqing. The family's little princess was such a proud person, so why would she bother with Gu Qingqing and steal Lin Yiqi? Thinking about the recent situation with the Lin family, she was speechless. Only Gu Qingqing couldn't see it clearly. Tang Zheng had already prepared a table full of delicious food. When he came out, he saw that Tang Guo had returned. He observed her expression and asked, "Who made Xiao Guo angry?" "Of course it's that Gu Qingqing. My classmates don't like to play with her anymore, so she probably thinks that I did something." "Oh, it's time to eat." Tang Zheng didn't say anything, but his eyes darkened. A few days later, the shareholders of the Lin family held a meeting and without any warning, Lin Yiqi was fired. Tang Zheng asked Tang Guo what she thought, and after she heard, she smiled. "Then Gu Qingqing's wish is fulfilled. She can finally live a normal life with the person she likes." Tang Zheng heard this and made a decision in his heart. The life of an ordinary person sounded pretty good. His Xiao Guo was indeed very creative. It didn't take long for Lin Yiqi to start his own business, even selling off his shares. Half a month later, his business failed, and almost no one was willing to help him. He had no choice but to sell 2 villas that belonged to him and start his own business again. In the end, he still failed. Lin Yiqi didn't want to give up. He tried everything he could think of to continue his business. In the end, all he had left was the small house he bought for Gu Qingqing. Only then did he realize that he only had this small house left. Gu Qingqing also realized that Lin Yiqi hadn't given her any accessories or bags for a long time, and even her allowance was getting less and less. When she was 3 months pregnant and couldn't stand the stares of others, she dropped out of school. She didn't even know about Lin Yiqi's failed venture. She only knew that Lin Yiqi had changed, and the reason why she chose to live in this small house was because she felt that it was their memories. It wasn't until Lin Yiqi stopped giving her things, or giving her any pocket money, and Lin Yiqi's gloominess that she finally realized that something was wrong. What? After hearing everything that Lin Yiqi said, Gu Qingqing couldn't believe that the 2 of them only had this small house left. Gu Qingqing, who was used to living a luxurious life, found it hard to be thrifty again. Especially Lin Yiqi. In her heart, whether it was his appearance or inner qualities, he was no longer that charming. Chapter 136. She also had to prepare meals every day. The 2 quarreled more and more. Gu Qingqing was finally able to live the life she wanted. She had no choice but to do odd jobs to earn money, even though she was pregnant. Lin Yiqi originally thought that he liked Gu Qingqing, but after quarreling again and again, he realized that this woman was too ordinary. She wasn't as simple as he thought, still being calculative about money. He was very disappointed. Especially when he realized that he couldn't be separated from this woman. He regretted it. If he had agreed to the marriage from the beginning, he wouldn't have ended up like this. The two almost couldn't eat, but Duanlihong cared about her son and helped them. After all, Gu Qingqing's stomach still contained the flesh and blood of the Lin family. Duanlihong's heart was in pain. Because of Gu Qingqing, she lost the chance of marriage and let the Lin family fall into the hands of the illegitimate child. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. After Gu Qingqing gave birth, Duanlihong held the child and fell into deep thought. Finally, she talked to Lin Yiqi. "Yiqi, this woman isn't suitable for you. Come home with mom and be good. You will have a share of the things in your dad's hands. Don't disappoint mom." Lin Yiqi's cloudy eyes gradually cleared up. He looked at the small house and remembered Gu Qingqing's calculative nature. Finally, he nodded. Lin Yiqi returned to the Lin family and wanted to divorce Gu Qingqing. Gu Qingqing didn't want to, but she couldn't win against the Lin family. In the end, they divorced. However, she didn't give up on pestering Lin Yiqi. The two's entanglement made Lin Dongshu very annoyed. In the end, he decided to divide the assets and kicked Lin Yiqi out. The child was raised by Duanlihong. After that, it was Lin Yiqi and Gu Qingqing's endless entanglement. A few years later, Tang Jing accompanied Tang Gua to the mall and saw the two again. At that time, Tang Gua had already graduated. She didn't go to work and was happily staying at home. Lin Yiqi had a new girlfriend and brought her out to shop. Gu Qingqing bumped into them and was hitting the woman. "Lin Yiqi, I've seen through you. If I don't have a good life, you won't have a good life either. You said that you wanted to be with me, and now you want to divorce me. I won't let you go. If a bitch appears by your side, I'll hit her." Gu Qingqing looked crazy as she pulled the woman's hair. The woman was screaming from the beating, calling out Lin Yiqi's name in a sweet voice. Lin Yiqi walked over and slapped Gu Qingqing's face. Gu Qingqing smiled coldly. "I'm not done with you." Gu Qingqing stared viciously at the woman on the ground. "If you know what's good for you, you'd better get away from him and get lost. It won't be so simple next time. Be careful or I'll chop you to death." The people around them were shocked as well. The woman's face paled as she got up from the ground, ignoring Lin Yi. I'll go. With an ex like that, she didn't have the guts to mess with Lin Yiqi. Gu Qingqing smiled in satisfaction. She wasn't afraid of Lin Yiqi's murderous gaze at all. "Bah, why would I fall for a plaything like you? I don't know if I'm blind to have fallen for you." Lin Yiqi didn't care about his image at all. There was no way he'd ever thought that Gu Qingqing was an innocent and cute girl. If not for this woman, he would still be the young master of the Lin family. Gu Qingqing laughed like a crazy woman. She turned around and walked away. Suddenly, she saw Tang Gua standing not far away. She was stunned. "You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.